Hello, Zelda Speedruns, and welcome to another exciting installment in the Link to the Past Crossworld Keysanity tournament. I think we're going to have a real barn burner for you tonight. We're going to have Alaszun versus numberplay, our two closest seeded competitors in the tournament, facing off in round.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be quite a fight. I am going to be one of your commentators, Maximum Barnage. I am here with the one, the only lead developer of the entrance randomizer, Amazing Amperos. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing just great, and I'm really looking forward to this match. Like I said before, I think these two runners have very similar skill levels, as their seeds would indicate, and it's really unpredictable what could happen.
Yeah, this is definitely among all of the races that I've looked at. I really have no idea what's going to happen for here. I don't know. I just have a hunch that numberplay is going to take it. I don't know why. I don't know what's leading to that, but I'm just gonna make my prediction on that since I didn't actually do it for the challenge bracket. So we'll see how it ends up. Who do you like in this one?
Well, I think I predicted numberplay, but I think I almost literally flipped a coin. Like, I haven't watched a lot of numberplay play. From what I've seen watching Alaszun's races, he has the potential to put up some really good times. He's a little mistake prone, but from a viewer perspective, that can be exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I definitely, as someone who has a little bit more of an erratic playstyle myself, it's definitely neat to see some gambles in the entrance randomizer because you just get to see so many more entrances early. So we'll see how it works out.
Well, we should be starting any moment, and it'll be interesting to see what starting routes our players prefer. I know Alaszun is a huge believer in the early Potion Shop Houlihan route. I don't know what numberplay's preference is. Do you?
I am not sure. I've actually not watched either of these two runners do an entrance yet, so we'll see how it comes up. And they're off. So we have one starting at Link's house and one starting at Sanctuary.
Oh man, I already have to root for numberplay. He's using my start.
I like the Sanctuary start very much, and he's going straight to Kakariko Village, so we're going to get to see a ton of entrances right away.
Yeah, the upside of what numberplay is doing is you just get such density, like, instantly. Well, Alaszun's investing a couple minutes right off the bat that he'll never get back, but he's in a very secure position to check the rest of the world.
Yeah, I've seen this route a couple of times too. Numberplay is going to be farming up some rupees. Alaszun opting to fake flipper over here to the potion shop, which is a far out of the way location. And it's the bomb shop. So he's going to find out 2 crystals, and that is Turtle Rock and Thieves Town, I believe I saw, as the 5-6.
So yeah, one thing I would say is that that's obviously a relatively good entrance to be in the potion shop because he got instant information without the downside of, something he's going to have to come back for anytime soon. But on the other hand, I think numberplay really lucked out with that 50 rupee cave easy in CAC because one of the main advantages of Alaszun's start is that it's rupee stable. Rupees are often a huge problem early on, but he's going to be able to afford any bomb purchases or whatever. Numberplay is able to negate that just by the good fortune of what he found in CAC.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see that Mimic Cave leads to a fairy fountain, so that's a good location to be able to cross off right off the bat. And Alaszun rewarded with bombs from the uncle and full magic. So yeah, that 50
fully
rupee
negate the connector to that central Turtle Rock ledge because you'll still need that connector to reach the other of its entrance pair, but it just really weakens it quite a bit. And that can be a hard one to find depending on the seed.
Yeah, absolutely. So Alaszun collecting his rupees through the Houlihan room as predicted.
Well, you see numberplay making a lot of plays for the 50-50 rupee bush and CAC, going back into Turtle Rock for an extra bomb. If Alaszun does find a bomb shop early, he will be getting a lot of his early time investment into Houlihan back, because he's not going to do any of that nonsense. He's going to take the short, direct routes, and he's not going to have to worry about his bombs as much.
And we see the tavern is some type of dark connector. We don't know what that is yet, but numberplay opting not to go for any of those dark room shenanigans with no weapon. And we find the sick kid very close to vanilla, but not quite.
Yeah, those dark connectors, it's always a really interesting decision how you want to handle them. Like, a lot of people like to fish to see if it happens to be the old man, but with their current loadout, honestly, returning that old man is not free. So I agree with Numberplay's decision to make note that it's there and just see what else you get for free.
Oh, so Alaszun has found Thieves Town at Hyrule Castle, the main entrance. So definitely he's going to get a pretty high treasure density out of there. And Numberplay has found the Mire Shed.
Yeah, not much value in Mire Shed other than 3 bombs, which in this game state isn't a terrible chest at all. But Thieves is really nice because it's a 4 chest spot, so it's almost as good as those 5 chest caves you covered so much early. And also, we already know that it's a 5-6 crystal. Alaszun knows that, so he's found an entrance that's absolutely required to beat the game.
Yeah, it's definitely a good find for Alaszun. Also, these 4 chests are essentially in the overworld. They're not locked behind any doors or anything, so I usually see that there's some type of progression here in the first 4 chests of Thieves Town, though he hasn't found any yet. There's a big key to Misery Mire.
So also worth noting, on Numberplay's side, we found Ganon. Ganon is something you obviously need to finish the game, and Ganon at Magic Bat is, in my opinion, the best place for him to be, because that entrance you can't access with the hammer isn't a problem early. You're almost assuredly going to have the hammer by the time you need Ganon, but he's not behind either of your Oghanims.
Oh, and GT is in South Kakariko Village.
Yeah, GT is definitely a central point of the entrance randomizer because it has 27 chests. Only going to be able to get 2 now, but pretty good value from those 2. Our bottle for that sick kid we've already seen, and our fighter sword, which it's less important than you'd think, but it's really nice.
Oh yeah, I've had the last couple of my seeds be actually gated by a sword that was required to advance, and walking around without a sword for the first hour and a half plus can be real annoying. And Swamp Palace also being found.
So that is an interesting hint we just got there. That means the Aga Tower entrance has a cave with an item, which, a cave with 1 item on average isn't that great, but that's definitely going to color your thinking. You're not going to want to go toward that upper castle area until you have either a cape or another.
Yeah, that's true. And Alaszun, with a huge payoff in the back of Escape, getting the big key to Desert Palace and that very, very pesky small key to Swamp Palace.
Yeah, though I expect Numberplay is going to be right behind. The route is just too easy for him. Has that bottle, go up, check Sick Kid, take the drop right back in, and get Alaszun's treasure trove. But yeah, so far this has been a pretty straightforward situation for both runners. A lot of covering similar ground. We see a bit of divergence with Alaszun choosing to prioritize the North Lost Woods area instead of going south. So he's unfortunately going to have to do Bomb's Escape, whereas Numberplay is going to have a sword for it. But I think he's good enough at this game, it's not going to make a huge difference in the end.
Yeah, it's not that much slower. I mean, it's a little irritating, especially when you're kind of bottlenecked on bombs in the early game and you don't want to spend them. But I think he'll be just fine. And so Numberplay still a little bit short on money. We see Alaszun all the way up to 312 rupees at this point. we'll see if that comes into play, if, you know, shopping for bombs or anything becomes a problem. But it looks like they both have a healthy number at this point.
Yeah, and with a sword, there's a lot fewer situations that are going to tax their bombs quite as heavily. Like, if you find Paradox Cave, you don't need to kill the Moldorms in the second room with bombs. If you find Mini Moldorm Cave, you don't need to use any bombs at all if you don't want to. So I think he's going to be fine, and he still can Houlihan Room. Those 225 people waiting for him whenever he wants them.
Yeah, yes, indeed, they are. Though it is worth noting that that is a little bit out of the way. You know, Alaszun had to get there with the fake flipper. There's not like an easy entrance by there, like Sanctuary being out there or something.
Yeah, just a route I've seen some people do is they just kind of do this Lost Woods, hook around through the North Light World, end at that drop that's the Northeast Ferry anyway, and just Houlihan immediately after the drop. It's a little risky because if you find flippers, obviously you're going to have a bad time, but so far, no sign of those flippers. Oh, I'd also like to point out, Alaszun found Bamos in Zelda's cell. Logically, that's behind the Hyrule Castle small key, but Bamos is one of the highest intrigue early game items, and I bet you know why that is.
To enter Ice Palace?
Oh yeah, going into Ice Palace with Bamos and nothing else is one of the most terrifying things that can possibly happen to a runner, and you're never too thrilled to see that Bamos in the first 15 minutes.
No, definitely not. I think the item that terrifies me most actually is the mirror early, because that could potentially lead to some running around the Dark World as a bunny shenanigans to try and find the Moon Pearl. But we see Alaszun picking up another pesky key, the big key to Eastern Palace. That's a really good find.
Yeah, because that takes a really nasty situation off the table for Alaszun. Because oftentimes you find Eastern, and it's one of those there's no good decision things. Do you go in right away or try to wait until you can clear it? And the really bad thing is when you go in right away, and big chest is required before you can possibly get bow, that's always the last location in the world. And now we know that won't happen to Alaszun here.
I did not see what was a lumberjack, did you?
It was either Magic Bat or Useless Fairy. It was one of those two, which means there's for sure not required, because Useless Fairy's never required, and this game would never troll enough to make Magic Bat behind Aga 1 required, right?
No, never. I've literally never had that happen multiple times.
I mean, it definitely didn't happen in the very first entrance seed I played.
But no, I do think that was Magic Bat. I think the Great Fairy was at the drop in the Lost Woods. So that also means we haven't found Kakariko Well yet.
Yeah, Kakariko Well and Vanilla Lumberjack Tree are the two entrances we're missing, and we're about to find out what's in Sank. This is a big moment in the run.
Yeah, because if the Kak Well is not here, and it's not, then that means that that's at the Ganon drop, right?
Yeah, that is exactly where the well is. So, kind of a meme among the Cross Keys community is that Crystal's goal means Ganon or Aghanim 2 isn't required except all of the time. And yeah, they're with 9 items up there. I would expect a GT climb before the end of this run.
Yeah, I think that it's going to have to happen. Number play going into Thieves Town, following in Alaszun's footsteps, while Alaszun's going to be going through and doing all of Kakariko, hopefully eventually happening upon that sword in Ganon's tower.
Neither of them choosing to talk to my buddy the Grassman and find out any of the lore of this mode, but maybe someday someone will decide to chat with that guy.
Is that the Mario-looking guy who's just like standing alone in the house?
I mean, he is, I think, the most human character in A Link to the Past. because he just really doesn't want to mow his yard, and I think we can all relate to that.
I can relate to that, like, literally right now, so... I mean, I guess I can't because it's late enough at night, but I definitely avoided mowing the yard all week, so, you know, props to Mario, man.
Yeah, I mean, even when you're mowing your yard, even that's the time most of all you don't want to be mowing your yard, right?
I mean, if I'm going to be mowing my yard, I'm going to be doing it virtually in the Zelda universe, so, I mean, at least that pays me in rupees, so... But, yeah, so, interesting that numberplay also chose to do Dark Cross, while Alaszun did not. I mean, it made a lot more sense because Alaszun didn't have a sword to do the Dark Cross. But there was nothing there, but Alaszun might have to come back and do that later.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be that tough, because Hyrule Castle's in a very accessible place, and Alaszun still wants to check it as a connector later, so it's not going to be too much of a factor for him. But certainly that has been a pivotal play. Pivotal, words are hard, in other races.
Yeah, so we'll have to see when it takes him. Again, it's not going to take too long, but it is a little bit annoying to have to come back later. Numberplay doing that Dark Cross without too many hearts. Though he did have the blue mail to help him out with his snakes. Those snakes can be really irritating.
Yeah, early blue mail, I kind of high-key hate finding it, because something you've seen both runners do several times so far, and we'll continue seeing them do for a while, is they just keep dying a lot. It's not just because they're bad, it's because death warping is really powerful in this mode. You can't really plan when you're going to find dungeons. In Keysanity, you can often do just a couple checks in a dungeon. You just want to go to the start. Ganon was so kind as to fill them with these monsters that will warp you to the start if only you lose those pesky hearts.
Yeah, death warping is definitely a thing that happens fairly frequently. You know, getting out of Zelda's cell, you know, death warping back to the front of Turtle Rock is really common. Fortunately, those enemies hit pretty hard no matter what mail you're running. But you know, just Thieves Town warp we've already seen. So yeah, and Alaszun opting to check the torch, which has a key.
I'd also point out, I believe we saw a small key on Race Game, didn't we?
I didn't see that. I didn't see when Numberplay went to check that, but I'm sure Alaszun will be checking it fairly soon, and we can confirm.
Yeah, because we have a couple small keys hanging early. The intrigue's reduced a little because we already have Swamp Small, which is always the big one. You're asking, is it that one? But small keys can have a lot of significant impacts, especially noting that we have not found any pod keys so far.
That's true. And there's, I didn't see this the first time, but there is Bumper Cave down in South Kakariko at the treasure chest game. Also,
I think Bumper Cave is one of the less favored connectors by most players. If you get the tools to go through it early, it can be kind of a play to actually bother, because a lot of people have very little inclination to care about that connector.
Yeah, I've seen it lead to progression, or you know, to just to be an interesting and useful connector quite a few times. And one of the little-known facts about that particular Bumper Cave entrance, if you haven't played the entrance randomizer, is that can be got through with the hook shot and does not necessarily require the cave.
Yeah, for a bit of your entrance randomizer history, it was ACMLM who, in one of the very earliest entrance races, showed us that tech, and we were like, oh, that's really easy and not a glitch at all. That should probably be in logic. And thus it was.
to the bane of new entrance randomizers everywhere. I feel like that's kind of like one of the gatekeeping techs where like eventually you're going to run into it and get bodied by it when you start playing the entrance randomizer, unless you like have seen someone else do it. It's kind of like the swimming around to get the hook shot from East Dark World to West Dark World in the regular randomizer is what I compare it to.
That's really the thing where I think experience is so important in the entrance randomizer, because, like, you mentioned that interaction. You could also talk about, like, Mirror at the Race game or Mirror on top of the upper bumper cave area. There's a million just tiny little gotchas that in any one of them in 90% of races won't matter even a little, but the odds of you having a race with none of them are actually very low.
Yeah, that's true. But part of that, to me, that's the draw of entrance randomizer. And ooh, that's a cool connector. So right by Link's house in Lake Hylia, we have the old lady's house leading to the floating island, which can be another mini gacha if you forget about it. Alaszun opting to explore Upper Dark Death Mountain as a mushroom, apparently.
Let's have a little bit of honesty here. Is it a cool connector because you think the connector itself is cool, or is it a cool connector because Squirtle was wearing those shit?
I think it's equal parts both. I mean, like, I'm being totally honest there. So it looks like Alaszun's opting to take a Death Warp for another purpose, which is to get the Bunny Revival glitch. Or it's not considered in logic, because he's going to revive as Link and then be able to actually open the chest down in the basement here.
Yeah, this is something that it's not required by logic, but if you play this mode, it's tactically very important to know. Whenever you die or get wall mastered in a dungeon, you come back as normal Link. So you can actually accomplish a lot in Dark World dungeons just by taking advantage of Ganon's helpful forces. He's not such a bad guy. He gives you all these enemies, and you can really use them to your advantage.
This is true. As we see 2 consecutive Death Warps taking quite a bit longer than they normally would with that blue mail, as you've already said. Oh, and here's some forgotten entrances that are commonly left behind, is these lower Dark World Death Mountain entrances. But nothing of it.
And I would say Alaszun finding nothing there actually was a bit of a sigh of relief for him, because he has no way to Super Bunny there in his current situation. So if he found just a random cave with a chest, it'd put him in kind of a hard spot. On the other hand, a great spot is finding Paradox Cave at the Flute 5 cave.
It looks like both of them are going to be heading that way too, so we'll see what kind of treasure trove is in Paradox. Though, in my at least recent entrance randomizer experiences, these heavy treasure chest cave locations, like, Hype Cave and Paradox and all that, tend to be like straight garbage, like, most of the time. Like, you might get one thing.
I mean, you have to keep it in perspective. Finding one required item to beat a seed in an entrance is pretty good.
That's true. And there's a good one right off the bat. Numberplay finding the hammer in Upper Paradox Cave. That's huge. And the big key to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, Hammer and TR Big, both very good finds. Now, we've only seen the front door of Turtle Rock, right? Where you need the cane to do anything?
Yes, that's the only one of the 4 Turtle Rock entrances we've seen.
Because if we find either of the middle entrances of Turtle Rock, that big key can come into play. With the eye lasers, it comes into logic, letting you reach the Crystal Roller Room. With the big chest entrance, it's not in logic, because they have no logical way to cross the gap. But if they know a particularly tricky bomb jump, they could get a bunch of stuff with it.
What's the bomb jump you're referring to? I do not know it.
There's a bomb jump where you can jump to the Turtle Rock big chest. It's pretty difficult. It's the same sort of bomb jump as you use to cross from the top of Inside Spectacle Rock Cave to the bottom, where you kind of use the wall to boost you along.
Oh, I did not know that was possible. Turtle Rock main leads to a storyteller. That's another sigh of relief for our runners, though a little less. Numberplay opting not to dive into Ice Palace just yet, which I think is a good move. I think he wants to find a Power Glove before he goes down there, ideally.
Yeah, it's hard to say. He might just be checking one more entrance. He might be planning to go exploring in that dark cave he saw. Or he might just be out of here. And he's just out of here. That was a big decision point for him because he had 3 very plausible plays, and he went with the elsewhere one, which is probably the safest one. But I mean, that Paradox Cave is a long walk to go back to. So if ice is the answer and Alaszun bites, could be a big advantage for him.
Yeah, I think I would hedge there. Like personally, I think I would at least go down and kill the Pengators and get that first chest. Because it's not that far out of the way, and you already have Bombos. You can just Bombos twice.
But yeah, Alaszun is trailing a bit behind because of his time on the Dark Mountain, but we'll see if he makes different decisions. We see he's doing a little more with this Dark Cave, and he concluded it's not the front of Old Man. Can't really tell much else about the cave, but it's not that one.
Yeah, so we know that it's not the back of Old Man either, because the back of Old Man, by necessity, needs to be on West Death Mountain. Or at least able to be reached, or you're able to deliver the Old Man to his destination. So Alaszun opting to make the play into Ice Palace. We'll see how this pays off, because this could be a really huge point in this race.
I mean, it is a huge point in this race either way, because if Alaszun dives deep and gets nothing, it's a decisive moment in number play's favor. Whereas if he gets the critical progression here, it's a decisive moment in Alaszun's favor. So let's watch this one close.
Yeah, I'm especially interested in this Pengator chest that's coming up in just a minute. So, just a map, unfortunately. But let's see if he goes. He's going a little bit deeper, it looks like. He's collecting items and looks like he's going to make a little bit of a deeper run.
Yeah, I personally agree with Alaszun here that if you're going to start the dive, you should probably continue it because you've already watched 2 Bombos animations. You're already here. The dive will at least get you the 2 additional hints as well. So, you know, this isn't quick, but what you've done is already not that quick. So, you know, spent cost fallacy, my favorite fallacy.
It definitely comes into play in Entrance quite a bit. And we see that Numberplay has found the silver arrows in Spectacle Rock Cave. So we'll see. He's not going to chase this one-way entrance, which I think is responsible.
On the other side, we got a hint from Alaszun that Purple Chest leads to Quake. Now, Ether and Quake are not very valuable items in entrance because the odds of the Turtle Rock main and the Misery Mire main entrances being useful and being that one particular medallion are just very low. We already know they don't need the Turtle Rock entrance. But if they do feel like they need Quake, Alaszun now knows exactly where to get it, so that's kind of a disproportionately useful hint.
That is true. So I guess the only way that it would be required is for Misery Mire, correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
So, interesting that Numberplay is, you know, I guess he's kind of like out of spots to really explore, but he's coming all the way out here to the Ice Rod Cave, and he doesn't have the Power Glove, so he's going to have to leave this entrance behind.
Is he actually completely out? Like, because I'm beginning to feel better and better about Alaszun's Ice Palace play the more I see from Numberplay, because I'm not sure what Numberplay's next move is, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, he's already explored towards Desert Palace. He carried that all the way to Desert Palace, and we didn't see anything. And what other locations could we possibly go to? We don't have a Power Glove for Zora, for King Zora, because that would not be in logic. Though, I mean, you could go see him with a fake flipper, but you're not getting a logical progression there.
And so, neither has 500 rupees anyway, so they're not in a hurry to sequence break Zora anyway.
That's also true, especially not Numberplay, who's not done the Houlihan Room. So, Alaszun gonna check out Ice-T. This should be in logic.
Yes, this is in logic. This is the last chest in here that's in logic. In practice, he can also get one more chest. The first chest on the right side, though it's kind of an ordeal. I expect him to do it if he's already here.
Oh boy. Wow,
That
that
red
is...
cane, to my knowledge, opens exactly one spot, and I mean, I'm going to call it. I think Alaszun has made the right play. I think red cane into that first chest and turtle rock is what the seed's looking for.
Or it could be a tile room.
Oh, that's true. We have seen GT. So yeah, that red cane opens up 2 progression points, which is twice as good as 1.
Yes, indeed. So, we'll see. I mean, it's got to be in one of those 2 places with Ice-T being in Logic. Alaszun is going to hunt out one more chest here. This is the only one that he can get unless he happens to find the Power Glove right here.
Power Glove right here would be incredible.
Not quite that lucky today. And so we see, Alaszun's being completionist with, just taking the slow checks, being disciplined, really paying off here. Whereas Numberplay is going to be hunting a couple more entrances and, might not find the progression that he needs. Though this is new. West Death Mountain at the back of Spectacle Rock Cave.
This is pretty big because there's a lot of entrances here. It's entirely possible that this is the answer and this red cane we found is kind of tertiary. Because this is the main area they really needed a connector.
Yeah, this is one of the main unexplored light world areas. He obviously can't go too far in the dark world right now without either a mirror or a moon pearl. And there was the flute on top of Spectacle Rock, so they'll need the mirror for that to come back, but that's a nice find and entrance, certainly.
As Alaszun discovers that the dark cave on East Death Mountain is one that he's not sure how to navigate, so that little adventure ended before it really began, but it's just as well. You got a good item, and there's really no reason to bang your head into a dark cave that doesn't necessarily lead to any.
We get the hint that an armor can be found in Eastern Palace, thus further impeding the Death Warps if they find Eastern. Oh, and we'll see the big key to Desert giving the lamp. Oh, that's a really interesting find with the... I think we found 2 dark connectors already. So that opens both of those up logically.
That also means that returning the Old Man, and thus the Old Man save warp, are probably in logic. The Old Man could be at Tower of Hera, which we currently can't access, but, we'll see.
So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to find which of these runners is on the right scent right now. I'm kind of really surprised.
Alaszun doesn't seem to believe the red cane he found is the answer. He's going and checking much of the same South Shore area that Numberplay did. And, I mean, he gets his silver arrows. If he takes his connector, he'll be really happy. Just missed the bomb jump, Alaszun. You'll thank me later.
No, he's going to get to see an extra connector here, but this connection is not in logic, to my knowledge.
No, that is 100% not in logic. He's now going to just waste his time, walk into the pyramid. I mean, I don't know, maybe it'll be like the mirror and he'll be super happy, but he probably would have been better off to miss that bomb jump, and he has no way to know that, of course.
So he's also found Spiral Cave, which he could actually travel and use the Super Bunny glitch to grab the chest at the bottom if he wanted to. But, that being a one-way connector and, you're already here, you want to check the pyramid, I'd say, if you're going to do that, save it for last.
Yeah, now he's quick swap to the B. Spiral Cave with 3 hearts is pretty tough, but between his blue mail and the bunny can release a B, I'd give him really good odds of surviving the walk.
That's not too bad. I mean, those mold worms can be really trolly at times. And he gets blanked at the pyramid. I didn't see what it was, but he doesn't seem interested in picking it up.
It was 3 times as good as finding 1 bomb.
Yeah, I don't blame him for skipping on that one. Numberplay doing all the loops to check out all the entrances on West Death Mountain. Still have not seen that old man cave yet. And here he goes. Yeah, he's releasing the bean. He's gonna give it an attempt.
Yeah, and like this is totally the rational play, but we know it's probably incorrect. Like it could lead to the Hera entrance, but it's just not very likely, you know?
Yeah, yes indeed. So this could be big if he picks up something here, but it's just $20 at the bottom of the spiral cave, and it's a slow walk.
So and now he's up here, and he's just gonna save warp out. I might have at that point gone and done front of Skull, but like you've invested a lot of time into your bunny adventure there, and ruling out spiral cave's nice, but mostly nothing to show for it, you know?
Yes, indeed. I think that, he really should start chasing that cane right away. He spent the time to go get it. Yeah, I just from a viewer's sake, end the suspense, man. Come on. And it looks like that is what he's doing. He's heading in the general direction of Turtle Rock and GT.
Yeah, like the fact that Numberplay didn't find anything on West Death Mountain, these are the plays of intrigue Alaszun is making. If he finds a glove or a pearl here, blows the seed right open.
Well, this one was not the answer. It was just more money. But we do have that early tile room, early tile room progression is probably one of my favorite features of the entrance randomizer. So thank you very much for designing that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, like I have plenty of experience with A Link to the Past on Twitch, and in my experience, everyone's favorite cave or favorite item location is indeed the tile room. So you got to give the people what they need.
This is true. I mean, it's usually only a 1 in 22 chance of the big key going there in a normal randomizer, and much less if it's just normal Keysanity. But I love progression in tile room. It's so much fun. It's also
I believe on another note that front of tavern entrance was the old man, and he is at Tower of Hera. So Alaszun doesn't know it, but he's going to find the lamp up here to put this in logic. So this could be a play.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious. Let's see what he has. It's a key to Thieves Town, but not the one that would, allow you to push further, unfortunately.
It's one of my favorite items to find as somewhat of a naturally conservative player, because in their current game state, they've just guaranteed that they will never orphan the big chest of Thieves Town.
Oh yeah, that's definitely got some value attached to it in a big way. I've had that happen more often than I'd like to admit. I'm feeling like in just talking to you, who I consider to be a much better player than I am at this mode, like I feel like I should be taking less risks, just in general. maybe that's true of most entrance randomizer.
Every risk saves you time until the one that really doesn't, right?
This is true. Yeah, you sink time into going places that are maybe not going to work out, and I've had so many seeds where you get that one item on what you think is the gigantic brain play of wandering around in the dark world or whatever, and then it just turns out that all of that advantage evaporates because you left something obvious behind, or just got led astray somewhere where you shouldn't be.
So I'm going to guess that Alaszun is somewhat amused by finding the exit to Spectacle Rock Cave right there, given what he went through.
Yeah, yes, indeed. That can't feel too good on his part. But these players are almost equal on entrances, except for that dive into Ice Palace that is paid off with the cane for Alaszun. So I have to say pretty strongly advantage Alaszun right now, as long as he gets to that tile room moderately quickly to, pick up what we think is there. I'm having trouble thinking of where else progression could be.
The thing is, it's not even like bad for Alaszun, even if just some random bunny house is like the Hammerpeg's cave and it's just a moon pearl sitting out, because he's still going to have that Cane of Samaria no matter what happens, and it's still a useful item. So I definitely feel pretty good about Alaszun's position in the early game.
And so this is a new connector that we haven't explored the other end of, that Number plays in, I think. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I don't believe we've seen the Fairy Ascent Cave before now. It's a connector that a lot of people who aren't familiar with entrance don't even understand as a connector. But what's easy to understand is that is an in-logic bunny adventure hookshot, and Alaszun almost skipped the lamp, but realized it at the last minute.
So, yeah, and you know what that puts into play.
Literally everything left side GT.
That is true, yeah. I was also going to say the Bumper Cave connector could be coming into play now, though I guess they've explored almost all of the light worlds. That's less likely.
Yeah, because I actually don't think, like, the only way that Bumper Cave connector could be important if it was like the summit of East Light Death Mountain. Well, even then, no, because they have the hammer. They could get there through the Dark Connector and CAC if they really wanted to. I don't think there's anywhere it could go that would really help them without the mirror.
Yeah, so what would be really interesting, I think, it would be to find that mirror inside GT, and then, have to chase it into some Dark World bunny shenanigans.
I mean, it's always a decision how you route and what you do, so I don't want to just call a play wrong, but I'm just going to say Number Play choosing to check more entrances and hammer and hookshot, not just setting off the GT sirens in his head, I think is kind of a misplay.
Yeah, you definitely want to go to that very treasure dense location. I mean, he can get how many? 17 of the GT treasures?
You can't get that many of them. 4 of them are instantly in logic, because you need nothing other than hammer and hookshot for Stalfo's room. In practice, he can get 8 more, or 9 more. So, I mean, that's pretty good. He's getting rewarded with the big key to Thieves Town. He's actually getting rewarded handsomely with the big key to Thieves Town. So, maybe his play will work out better than the play I would have made, but it feels like this was a dangerous play.
Yeah, that could work out really well. I mean, he now has access to full clear a crystal, and he's found the Tower of Hera on East Death Mountain in 2 locations that we couldn't have gotten to before. So,
I guess to double back on my own analysis of how I would play, part of his logic as well might have been that I don't think we've seen any of the 5 item caves, have we?
We have not. We've not seen Blinds, we've not seen Hype Cave, and what's the other one? Is there another one?
Mini Moldorms.
Mini Moldorm, of course, yeah. I thought there were 3, but I couldn't remember. That's my problem with this mode sometimes. But yeah,
well,
Number Play
cave
pushing
has 5 things and you have to find it is what's important. Knowing what it looks like before you're in it isn't really important, you know?
This is true, yes. So, yeah, Number Play taking that Thieves Town small and big key, and he's going to go finish this up, which, this is definitely a good play.
Yeah, like, as soon as you find that Thieves Town big key, this just, like, everything else went out the window. This is a crystal dungeon. Well, it's not marked on his side. Has he seen the bomb shop?
Seen the bomb shop? Yeah, I feel like he has.
Yeah, so it's a crystal dungeon that he probably knows is a crystal, but even if he doesn't know, it doesn't change much. You can full clear it, and when you're thinking about the algorithm, you always assume you get things for a reason. So yeah, hammer and hookshot set off the GT alarms, but hammer, thieves small, thieves big, that's also setting off alarms. And these are alarms that don't have the risk associated with GT big chest.
This is true. And yeah, orphaning that GT big chest can be really painful. Though, I mean, like, it's hard to resist going after all of those chests.
I mean, I 100% would have made the play, whether it's right or wrong. Number play is going a different direction, and we're going to find out whether his patience in regards to GT could pay off.
Patience in regard to GT and also Ice Palace. You know, the longer number play does in logic things that, you know, potentially get him to the glove, because he, you know, once he has the glove, he really doesn't have a reason to stay out of Ice Palace either, because he can full clear it at that point.
Speaking of the glove, what's your over-under on the probability that number play tries to pick up the heavy stone in Thieves Town basement?
Oh, at least 99%. Maybe higher. I will be very impressed if he does not.
Yeah, it's a funny thing, because it's extremely improbable in standard randomizers that you enter Thieves Town without a glove. You can't pick up that rock without one. Number play seems to be on top of it. You can just get around it by clearing the enemies, but it's just something that's so easy to forget.
That shows experience right there. That shows a great deal of experience with the mode. Though he's struggling with these enemies a little bit.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Like, there's still 2 more hearts before blind, and there's the Moon Pearl in Thieves.
My God. Yeah, that's huge. Wow, that's, you know, what a sequence by number play. You know, I thought that Kane was putting, you know, Alaszun solidly in the lead, but, you know, that is all but evaporated now. I'd say the Moon Pearl has definitely shifted advantage number play.
Now, I will say that Alaszun has, as of just right now, gotten the last piece he needs to get that Moon Pearl. Because the other question you have to ask is, oh, number play didn't quite perfectly manage that rock, because it turns out if you don't pick it up, it's still there. But anyway, it could be a long time before number play gets that cane, and that might not matter at all. Maybe he just full clears Ice Palace in one shot and he gets everything he wants. But that could have some long-term repercussions if that cane down the road blocks some important stuff.
Yeah, this is true. You know, this mode is so entertaining to just play and watch. You know, I've really, you know, this is by far my favorite of the randomizer modes, just because everything, the way that the scenes play out is just so interesting and different every time. Ooh, and number play having a little struggle here with blind, and I don't think he has a fairy.
I'm pretty certain he doesn't have a fairy. This is rough, because everyone talks about the blind script. You can forget it now, because number play is gonna have to ad-lib this, trying blind from a death.
Trying blind, nice. But he's got 5 hearts and blue mail, so he should be okay. You know, I think he just kind of got out of sync a little bit on that first run through. Though Alaszun, you know, getting the Thieves Town big key coming right here, you know, he's gonna be, you know, fighting back immediately with that getting that Moon Pearl pretty soon as well, and that blind death definitely, you know, closed that gap a little bit more even.
Yeah, that, like, you'd almost want to say that Alaszun is ahead no matter, you know, how these remaining blind matches go, just because, like, he's going to be a little behind number play going into Dark World, but he's going in with Kane, and how much of a difference does that make?
Well, I mean, it can make a great deal of difference, especially with where the remaining Turtle Rock entrances are, because he'll be able to go in and clear out some additional Turtle Rock treasures that will be inaccessible to number play. I mean treasures, not entrances.
The other question you have to ask, from actually both players' perspectives, is, okay, that's cool. We just got our Moon Pearl. GT's still there, and it's totally plausible that GT has something important. The fact that they found no keys at all for GT might be what's putting them off from it, but when do you make that call that it's time to chase that density? Because there's no better density they're going to find anywhere else than they already know is there in GT.
Yeah, I feel like one of them is going to have to do it pretty soon. I also, I'm getting antsy. I want to know at this point. It looks like numberplay's headed towards Skullwoods, maybe the Curiosity Shop too, one of the oft forgot locations as well.
I'm blanking a bit. Have we seen Misery Mire? I kind of feel like we have.
We did. It was, oh my gosh, I think on the east side of the Light World towards Eastern Palace somewhere. I can't remember off the top of my head. It may have been on that East Dark World trip, actually, now that I think about it.
Because I would like to point out that as of right now, Alaszun can clear Misery Mire in Logic.
Assuming it's in the Light World. Oh, no, regardless, yeah, because he has the Moon Pearl now.
Yeah, the only things not in Logic are the left side, and those are just Misery Mire keys. And a thought I always have about sequence breaks is you really want to keep track of sequence breaks when you're breaking things you need eventually. When you're breaking things you don't care if you ever find, it doesn't matter as much, and Mire keys are certainly in that category.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. So, yeah, but that's a really good point. So I guess this brings up an interesting notion of, I don't think they have the Mire map yet, so you would be going in blind on, a chance that you might be hunting Misery Mire and getting a pendant out of it. How much does that play into your decision making?
It plays in fairly significantly, and another factor that it's always a feels bad moment when you fight Vitreous with silver arrows, no bow, and fighter sword.
Yeah, there is that factor too. But I feel like both of these runners could definitely handle that. It's just a matter of...
at some point though, it's not really about whether you're good enough to kill Vitreous. Like, I feel like at the level you have to be at to be able to approach this tournament with confidence, you're not scared whether you can beat Vitreous. But are you going to do a 5-minute fight when if you'd been more patient, you could have had a 20-second fight?
This is absolutely true. Another location where that comes into play is with the Ice Armos. Because that can be pretty painful. I think one of them has the blue cane. Alaszun has the blue cane, which will make that fight, fairly trivial. But with just a hammer, that can be both painful and sometimes potentially even deadly.
Yeah, Alaszun is definitely the runner here doing the best in the 100% all canes category.
Oh, there it is. We found it. But he's ignoring it. He's going away. He's playing patient. I guess... How did he get here? Was this the back of Old Man Cave that led him here? Oh, he doesn't have the hookshot. That's right. I'm attributing numberplay's items to him.
Yeah, that hookshot was the Fairy Ascent connector, which is, I believe, in the Village of Outcasts. So it shouldn't be too hard for Alaszun to find that, given that the old man just dropped you right in the village. But he has to make the decision to go there, and the world's kind of his oyster right now.
Yeah, but it looks like he's chasing some locations that numberplay has already checked, which we know are not good. So numberplay also finding Pod, and I don't think he has a potion in tow to check the bow-locked items.
Yeah, I haven't seen him buy one recently, and if he had one before, I feel like you would have used it against blind.
Oh yeah, that's true. But yeah, the Curiosity Shop holding pod. You know, I don't expect Alaszun to miss that one, but it is certainly out of the way. So, he also doesn't, you know, numberplay didn't really have any small keys to really, you know, push that and get some items out of it. But at least he knows it's there.
So something that's kind of interesting about that pod location, that's a spot that conventionally you would think of as very out of the way, because conventionally it would be, but remember the brewery is where Mountain Cave is. That's actually not that long of a trip from a save warp, so if you start getting some pod keys, that's a very save scummable location, I would say.
Oh yeah, it's not too bad, certainly. You know, it could be much worse. And numberplay doing Death Mountain top to bottom and finding that East Death Mountain entrance, that he's already explored all this, so he doesn't need to go any further. Alaszun heading back to... Oh, he's going to finish Skullwoods.
So I'm pretty confident we don't know if this is a pendant or crystal. And to me, this is kind of a wild play. He's prioritizing killing Moth over full clearing Misery Mire. I don't know with his current equipment that Moth is really much better of a fight than Vitreous, but we'll see his comfort level. He's about to demonstrate it to us.
Not to mention he has to do this pretty annoying bomb jump with a Wall Master setup in order to clear this room.
Yeah, this is really easy because the lineup is free, but I mean, it's certainly more time. He had to watch the Bombos animation. He has to wait on the Wall Master, and he has to kind of loop through the room a couple times. Whereas with Fire Rod, you just incinerate everything and you're done.
And numberplay's going to do some digging. Let's see how far he goes and what he gets out of it.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't count digs even when I'm playing because, like, there's no circumstance really I'm not going to do the dig game anyway, so it'll be what it'll be.
And he's rewarded with Ether, though, you know, again, with us already knowing that the Turtle Rock location is no good, that not a whole lot of value there, but could be.
If he does not have the hint about where Quake is, so he still has the small amounts of Medallion Uncertainty, though by and large, I'm going to guess he's not terribly interested in that find.
And Alaszun's struggling a little bit with the Moth here and getting trolled with him being, you know, hugging those spikes at the top quite a bit.
Alaszun does have a blue potion, so he's perfectly safe here, as long as he doesn't get overzealous, but we're just going to have to see if Moth decides to play a little nicer.
And he's not going for spins, which would be slow, but you know he really wants those hammer hits, which, you know, 4 hammer hits is going to be the end of Moth, but he's having trouble connecting.
And he's nearing the point where I honestly think he should pull out that blue cane and rush Moth down and just see what happens.
There we go, and he does end the fight. It's a little slow, but let's see if he's rewarded with a crystal. Oh boy, no, just a blue pendant and no treasure. So yeah, that's about the ultimate punish that can be done for that early Skullwoods play.
Yeah, like, it could be a pedestal seed, but let's be honest, it probably isn't.
Okay, so we just got 2 hints on numberplay's side too. We got one that was, thankfully, the magic bat leads to nothing. And then also we got a hint that the Tower of Hera basement leads to a Misery Mire small key, which is not really required for anything. So 2 annoying locations can be checked off due to those hints.
There's the other end of Bumper Cave, closing the loop on your preferred method of entry.
Yeah, darn, not quite today. Though I guess with them finding the Moon Pearl, you know, they've been most everywhere in the light and dark world. Only about an hour into this seed, so that connector being relevant is just, you know, was already fading long before he found that. Well,
of course, that is our fastest way back to Castle Tower here, which We know now, at least thanks to number play, that there's going to be no need to fight Aga 1, but we still don't know about that second chest, and that can easily turn into a last location.
Yes, indeed. That's, that upstairs chest in the dark. Number play has found Blind's Hut in the Dark World. I think at Dark Lake Hylia.
Yeah, in general, number play strategy here is he's been chasing the entrance dense locations of Dark World Main, whereas Alaszun was kind of taking care of loose ends and finishing the Dark Mountain and all the business he could there. And I think it's going to put number play off to a bit of an early edge here because he might do the Dark Mountain later, but he's just getting a lot more density and value right now.
Oh no, and Alaszun just turned away from that fairy cave.
I feel like he's likely to go back for that after he checks North Dark World, because once you see the hook shot there, it makes you care a lot more about connectors all of a sudden.
This is true. Let's just hope that he puts all that together. I think he should. He's done a lot of these entrance randomizers. I think that he's going to know what to do and what to explore, since we've already seen a good number of the connectors outside of the Turtle Rock ones. We've seen all of Hyrule Castle, we've seen all of Desert Palace, we've seen all of the Dark Connectors, we've seen Fairy Cave, we've seen Bumper Cave. What else? I don't think there's many.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of what connectors we have other than Turtle Rock, and it seems reasonably likely, given how little of T-Rock we've seen, that it might lead to two must connects. You have one going to that middle area and one going to Desert Right. Desert Right, I think, being everyone's favorite place to exit.
Yeah, that always irks me. The second I find myself there, I'm just immediately mad.
So, fun fact about Desert Right, there was a bit of a mini controversy in the entrance community quite a while back when we learned that you can mirror into Desert Right. But it's kind of a weird thing where you use the mirror in a spot where it kind of like clips you over to walk in the door, and it was for a couple weeks we couldn't really agree whether it was a major or minor glitch. We eventually settled on major.
Huh. I was completely unaware that you could mirror there at all. I guess...
it's a spot that it doesn't look like it should work, but you just kind of like clip to the side if you mirror in the right place, and you can just walk in the door, and it's pretty iffy because using the mirror to clip through things isn't really allowed under our typical racing rule set.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the same as using the mirror to kind of get on top of the Turtle Rock, And Alaszun is finally gonna go check out that tower room, though he did in fact leave that fairy cave behind because he opted for South Dark World rather than North Dark World. And number play.
Another question we can ask is, how crazy do you think Alaszun is? Because he could do full right side right now. He shouldn't, but he could.
I would be very impressed. That bomb jump that he would need to do and the setup required for it, even just knowing the setup required for it is pretty difficult. Because you have to, I think to make it in time without the boots, you have to enter the top trap room and then exit there so that when you fall down after lighting the bottom torch, you respawn there. I think that's the only way to make it in time.
Yeah, that's correct, and it's terrible, but it's a thing you can do. And a more realistic thing you can do is the bomb jumps to reach the Stalfos room aren't that bad, and it looks like Alaszun's about to attempt them.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be fine here. This shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, it seems like number play's strategy in this, and this just might be his general approach to entrance randomizer, is he wants to map out the entire world before he, goes on and hunts items, it seems. I mean, he walked all the way to to the Palace of Darkness entrance just to see that it was the Curiosity Shop. So I mean, it seems like that's what he wants to be doing. And Tower of Hera big key in the Stalfos room. We know Numberplay could have had that for a while if he had chased the hookshot to Ganon's tower. And that can lead to some stuff. There's 3 treasures up there, and potentially a crystal.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen Hera. I think only Numberplay has seen it.
Oh yeah, where was that Numberplay has been, but Alaszun has not? Having trouble remembering off the top of my head. Man, this this is the first time I've commentated an entrance, and this is I have hard enough time keeping track of my own entrance play. This is dizzying.
Yeah, it's not really important for us to remember where Hera is. It's pretty important for them to remember where Hera is.
This is true.
But I'm reasonably sure that Alaszun hasn't seen it yet. I think it's somewhere in Dark World.
So, Alaszun on his way to Blind's Hut to grab the items there. He'll be there in a hot minute. And Numberplay still refusing to do GT.
I mean, Ganon's scary. Why would you want to go to his tower?
Because it's full of all those friendly minions you were talking about earlier.
I mean, the minions are great and all, but I mean, you know what the odor's like? The guy lives like a pig.
Well played. Well played. Alright, so Numberplay chasing this entrance and just a fairy fountain here. So we found the final, I think, relevant... Oh no, we still haven't found the top of Bumper Cave, which could be really relevant as a connector.
I would say we found the top of Bumper Cave, given that's where the hookshot was.
Oh, right, yeah. No, we did. So I can't think of any other relevant connectors unless we're maybe connecting to Misery Mire and then mirroring out of there.
I would say, given what they've seen, it's statistically a pretty strong possibility that at least one Turtle Rock entrance is in the Mire area. But it's also fairly likely that that's not going to be what they have to do. We already know the flute's on top of Spectacle Rock. We have no hint to where the gloves are, but I'm confident they're somewhere.
All right, here we go. Numberplay finally making the GT dip. So we're gonna see most of Ganon's tower and find out what is here. Interesting that we haven't seen. You know, we've kind of just been begging these runners to exploit the advantages they have over the other. You know, obviously they don't know that the other runner has or does not have the cane or the hook shot, right? But you know,
yeah, I mean, sometimes you can make more guesses than others. Like, if I were Alaszun, I would feel pretty confident I'm the only one with the cane. If I'm Numberplay, I'm not very confident I'm the only one with the hook shot.
Yeah, that's true, and you know that can potentially lead to some nerves, perhaps. You know, if Numberplay finds something here, he could start to get a sense that he's behind because he found that hook shot easily 15-20 minutes ago now. Whoa, that boomerang went on quite a journey. Do you see that?
Yeah, that's actually totally new to me. What isn't new to me is what happened after that. If you place the bomb too close to double crystal switches, you get a double hit, and it's not very useful. It vexed me like crazy as a kid.
I just want to advance through this room, man. This is before we had all these, boomerang strats that you learn after you start speedrunning this game and stuff like that.
I mean, the real answer is just use the stupid cane. Like, the boomerang strats are even better. They're hard with red boomerang, even if it behaves like it's supposed to, which we sure didn't see there.
I have no idea where that was going. It certainly wasn't going back to Link in an orderly fashion, so... Oh man, that's intriguing. Seeing the book deep in Ganon's tower, that was certainly not what I expected.
I mean, the book... doesn't really do anything for them right now. They can reach the Ether Monolith, but without a Master Sword, they can't get the item. They can check one really slow entrance, and that's about it. It'll eventually open the Vamos Monolith, but with no mirror, that's not really a thing.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like, you know, we got that Tower of Hera big, which seems to be like where the seed might be pushing, but like maybe that desert entrance could be something important, you know? Nice bomb jump there from numberplay and on the invisible platforms.
Yeah, that's actually only a one-tile gap. It's one of the very easiest bomb jumps you could be asked to do. But I think for a lot of runners who aren't familiar with it, because you usually have boots by the time you get to GT running standard randomizers, so it doesn't come up as much, it can kind of spook you a bit.
Yeah, I just did not know that one. I guess I haven't mapped out this invisible platform, so I'll definitely be incorporating that one. Boomerang time, here we go.
This is a crowd pleaser, but it's a terrible strategy. It takes 48. Yes, 48 boomerang hits to kill one of these. You might as well be tickling them.
This is true. It is so slow. I have, you know, I think I kind of chased a meme or something where people were like, when I started this mode, where people were like, oh, you know, just use Boomerang on Ormus Knights. And, you know, I have died here enough times to get desperate enough to try it. Don't try it. Don't try this at home, folks.
I'll do it with the Boomerang if and only if my only other option is the hammer, because that is actually the worst. But Fighter Sword, yeah, I'm going for that every time.
Yeah, Fighter Sword isn't too bad. The one trick that you do need to know for this is that the Fighter Sword spins are less damaging than Fighter Sword slashes, and this is the only time that really applies, I think.
Yeah, but it actually works greatly in your favor because you can just hold the spin and the drawn hit is full power. So that's actually very effective, and if numberplay were using that instead of the Boomerang, he probably would have had the red one dead a little quicker.
Nope. So Alaszun just picking up that Boomerang. Let's see. I think he will not use that same strategy. Oh, and another big key to this dungeon. Oh boy.
Shoutouts of the bows in the big chest.
That would be surreal. That would be so cool. It's nice that he didn't have the mirror too, because from, you know, like, you're used to usually, like, when you're playing through, you know, mirroring at that location, and I've had that happen more than once where, you know, I found the big key there and then I'm just like, oh, you know, didn't expect it and just mirrored out, and then you feel so bad having to go all the way back for it.
Now, here's a funny thing. Watching this, you might have seen that green rupee in that big chest and said, well, it wouldn't have mattered even if he did. It was nothing important. But let me tell you, the only thing worse than leaving progression behind when you easily could get it is doing that and then going back for it and it turns out to be that green rupee. That is the worst feeling in the world.
That is so awful. I can definitely sympathize with that. So numberplay, checking out the other side of bumper, which we know is nothing important. So,
yeah, he's going to find Castle Tower on this route. He's going to get his one, like, I think it's a piece of heart, and that'll be that.
Yeah, we still have not found any Castle Tower keys yet. So they're going to be in the same boat of having this semi-annoying trip to make here if they need to come back for this chest.
Yeah, if it's something like the mirror in that second chest, like, it's gonna be a minute.
Yeah, that is true. So, yeah, it's looking more and more like Tower of Hera is it. It's just a matter of where that was again.
I'm sure we're gonna get a reminder because certainly numberplay realizes the value that Tower of Hera represents at this point. I mean, it's a probably crystal dungeon that he can full clear, right?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the knowledge that Skullwoods is a pendant yet, so a little, you know, potentially more dangerous. But you just found that big key. You don't really have a lot of other options of where to go. Though, I guess you could push in Misery Mire because he can get 7. You can get 7 of the 8 chests there if you wanted to.
I mean, honestly, if you're just doing the sheer number play and you want to have the most probability of progression, Mire's probably the strongest play. It's just if you don't have the red cane. Oh, there's your castle tower key you wanted. But if you don't have the red cane, you have to believe that the safe play is Hera.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh no, yeah, here it is. It's on East Death Mountain. He's gonna drop down to it from here. That's actually a nice location for that castle tower key, because it's kind of like right there, if you ever want to go back. You just, take that Dark World portal right beneath it, and then you're set to check that chest.
And yeah, I'm pretty sure number play has seen the hint that waiting in the Tower of Hera basement leads to the small key to Misery Mire that you'll never care about. So, from his perspective, he can just take Tower of Hera on his list of important entrances and just put next through it after this. He's never coming back.
Yeah, that's always a great feeling to not strand a couple of chests. Though we're gonna see a couple of more pod chests from Alaszun here, because he does have a small key. Oh boy. So, spoiler alert. Did we see
so
that?
Given the Turtle Rock's a 5/6 crystal, it really doesn't matter if Hera's a pendant or crystal. Finishing this dungeon's required.
You did see that hint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. So we're gonna be getting something good here. Did it say with the Moldorms or with Moldorm?
It said with Moldorm, which... Yeah, with Moldorm or with Moldorms it's an important little distinction, is it?
Yes, indeed. Curious though, can Moldorm mean the Moldorm at the top of Ganon's Tower?
No. With boss name always means the boss of its proper dungeon, and because I'm a lazy programmer, it doesn't even respect Inamizer. I know I'm the worst.
Ooh, and unfortunate fall there from number play. He's gonna have to go at this again. Though with the hammer, you should make pretty quick work of him the second time. But the fact that this mode exists at all, I think, is proof enough that the fact that you were a lazy programmer would be a lie. So, I mean, like, props to you on even figuring out how to do this. I know the hours of work you put in, and thank you so much for this, because this mode is a joy and a pleasure to the community.
Well, I'll say you're welcome, but, I mean, you notice in the entrance randomizer credit section, it also gives credit to both LL Cool Dave and Kevin Cathcart. This 100% wouldn't exist at all if LL Cool Dave didn't take the initiative to write what he did. The backbone of his work, I mean, he's totally an unsung hero in the community as a whole. Like, the core, algorithm that we use to randomize item locations, even in the standard randomizer, was originally his work, actually.
This is true, yeah. So, absolute props to him for... I guess he's just, not generally as present in the, Discord and such. So people might not, know of him as much. But, definitely was critical to, everything that we know of in Randomizer right now. So, shout out to LL Cool Dave, definitely.
Yeah, and Kevin Cathcart just did, Crossworld Keysanity. On a ROM hacking side, I'll say it was my idea and it was his work.
And unfortunately, Numberplay is also going to chase this swamp. Skullwoods, and not be rewarded for it. While Alaszun happened to find a second pod small key on the right bowlock side of pod and is chasing that, but has not seen anything of worth yet.
Yeah, you can't blame Alaszun even a little for chasing it either. Pod is so many items, and you just keep getting access to more and more. you feel bad if you're not finding anything, but I'm not going to pretend I would do a thing differently in his situation.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. You're here. You gotta check the chests. So, Fire Rod is pretty interesting in terms of its leading to progression, because a lot of the progression that the Fire Rod leads to is also locked behind a cane.
Fire Rod as a whole, though, was a really nice find, because, like, we know Mothula is only required if Pedestal is required, and because we're not as big of memers as the rest of the community, we're not super worried about Pedestal, but it did mean that since they're both doing Moth, that Numberplay was able to do his section faster. He's probably going to need it eventually. If he has to go back to Ice Palace for the cane, he can burn through there faster, right?
This is also true. So, Numberplay did receive a crystal for the Tower of Hera completion, so that is 3 crystals for him to Alaszun's 2. Though, you know, crystal leads aren't as important in this mode.
Well, it's 2 crystals to 1, and they both have a blue pendant.
Oh, it's crystal 1. Okay. I'm sorry, I was looking at the lit up crystal for Turtle Rock and mentally marked that as complete, though obviously it's not, so my bad.
That's actually, Turtle Rock is intriguing me, because you look, Numberplay has 3 Turtle Rock small keys, a Turtle Rock big, he has the Fire Rod. We know he's been able to access the Red Cane for a long time. We don't know where Ice Rod is, but I mean, with how little we've seen in Turtle Rock, how hard is it for you to imagine the Ice Rod's in Turtle Rock?
You know, it very well could be. You know, you can go pretty much everywhere in Turtle Rock right now, except we still haven't found that big chest. So, yeah, Numberplay just got to get on that cane, and that might be where he's headed, because I think Ice Palace is over here.
Yeah. Did we get a hint for the back of Skull entrance? Because that's definitely another thing that would be tempting to chase with that Fire Rod.
I've not seen it, if it was gotten.
It looks like instead Numberplay's chasing this Spectacle Rock upper entrance. This is a really easy one to leave behind. Because well, there rules out your book too, but mathematically, it's better to drop down the middle one. You get 2 entrances instead of 1. You can later check this with the mirror when you're going for Mimic Ledge. It might have been more appealing to him because he knows he doesn't have to go back for Mimic Ledge, just do it this way, but it's really easy to just leave that cave behind forever for that long trip for 1 entrance.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's already over there. Why not just at this point jump down and do Ice Palace? I mean, like, what better does he have to do right now? I guess we're gonna find out.
I mean, from his perspective, which is kind of a perspective I would share, you're a glove away from Ice Palace gaining 3 checks, and possibly you don't have to go back. There's 2 gloves in the world. How many more places could a glove be, right?
I've asked myself that question a lot, and then I find myself in this situation where I'm an hour and 20, hour 40, 2 hours in, still gloveless, and just hating my life and wishing that I just followed the progression. Numberplay is making the play to Misery Mire, and this I do agree with this. I think this is a good play.
Yeah, it's 7 out of 8 he can check. He knows that left side is behind Hera basement logically. I doubt he cares. He's just going to do it. And there's a lot of ways this could pay off for him. At this point, with how many nice-to-have items we haven't found, it's hard but not impossible to imagine he doesn't get something good here, at least like a sword or some boots.
Yeah, boots would be really nice to open up a couple more entrances and, you know, just for general movement. And Alaszun about to grab that hook shot, which is, you know, great find for him. It immediately, you know, doing exactly what you said, seeing that hook shot on that ledge and then knowing that he has to chase connectors he hasn't finished. So, you know, props to him for, you know, making a good entrance play.
Yeah, though I'm going to guess that hook shot probably makes Alaszun real nervous because, like, finding a hook shot that was, I mean, frankly, in a kind of easy place, like, you could spy it whenever, and the first connector you'd go back to when spying it was the right one. He probably is having the thought, man, numberplay's had that for half an hour. And, well, he has.
Yeah, he would not be wrong.
Now, what he doesn't know is thus far that hook shot hasn't done much for numberplay. Like, going down left side GT here, it's more than a little defensible, but it's not really going to give him anything at all. It's going to give him a book that does nothing for you.
Yeah, he will get that Tower of Hera big leading to the Fire Rod, though. Oh, no, he already has that. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't believe Alaszun has taken the correct drop sequence to find the Tower of Hera, which could definitely evolve to be a bit of a story in this race.
This is true. Oh, and Alaszun having to leave behind the fire bar room? Did numberplay check the fire bar room, or did he not have the keys?
I'm pretty certain he did not have the keys. Like, the fire bar room, especially with an accessible GT, when you're short on GT keys, it's a risk that's not worth it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. You're getting one chest that's not in logic to leave behind, you know, a ton of other chests. So far this Misery Mire play not doing a whole lot yet.
Hey, as the president of the Misery Mire fan club, I'm keeping the faith here.
And there is that second Ganon's Tower key, so... Oh boy. That's
honestly, that's not a bad find. Because you want to check that entrance anyway. Misery Mire says you're welcome for giving you an excuse to do that.
Nice little bomb jump setup, or bomb damage boost setup to get through that portal when you don't have the boots.
Yeah, I think it was Alaszun who was actually talking to me about that trick the other day. I'd never seen it before, like 2 days ago, and it doesn't save, I think, a whole lot of time, but it saves a little of time, and it looks really cool. So, great strat.
Yeah, I agree. I like it quite a bit, especially if you kind of just like throw it up from the bottom. Like if you know you're going to do it and you start your bomb early, you can kind of just hit it right as the bomb is exploding. So we get to see Alaszun's take on the Armis fight, that this is going to be short work with the blue cane, though he kind of missed. You want to group.
Basically, completely. He's not going to get very much down with this blue cane.
Numberplay immediately going and chasing that Skullwood's big. And then I bet he is going to follow through and check that back of Skull location with the Fire Rod.
Also worth noting, this is a rare instance where we've actually watched a player... Oh, he's not going for it. What are you doing, Numberplay? Did he get a hint and we just forgot about it?
I do not think that we got the hint. We would have missed it on both players' sides since they've been on most of the same locations.
Yeah, that could be a significant error because, I mean, back of Skull is a horrible location to return to. And if that's the answer...
Yeah, I mean, you're there anyway, unless he does have the hint. I mean, that would be the only way that, like you said, that would make sense. I think he's going back. I think he kind of realized that maybe I should have done that.
Alaszun buffering a save warp while he opens the big key to this dungeon. But he's going to do the responsible thing and go get his $1.
A rupee saved is a rupee earned.
So I think we see numberplay making the move for Ice Palace. He's going to get his red cane. He might take that as meaning he needs to do right side GT.
Oh, I have no doubt. He should kind of follow through and go right there. With where Sanctuary is, it's really easy to get to GT.
But based on what I've seen from both sides, I don't think logically right side GT can be the answer. I think it's Firelocked and Turtle Rock is what we need next.
Right side GT. I'm not following why it couldn't be the answer.
We found too few Ganon's Tower small keys.
How many small keys lock the right side of GT? I'm not sure.
At least 3 of them, I think. We've only found 2.
Yeah, they were both pretty far out of the way. Is it just because of that that door after Tower Room?
Well, I mean, yeah, you have to open that door. You could just open all the other doors instead, right?
Yeah, I guess that's the way to logically think about it is, if you spent your keys as poorly as possible, could you get locked out of there? And yeah, the answer is definitely yes. So I just had never considered that as a logical thing, I guess. Just inexperience with entrance as a whole, I guess.
I mean, if you really think about it, and I haven't looked at this logic in quite a long time, like there's a static key in between the 2 doors, so it might require all the GT keys. I would have to check the code for that.
Oh yeah, that really annoying door that you should never open under any circumstance.
Oh, you don't enjoy doing full right?
Nah.
Oh, well, there is one more place that could have progression, and I have a feeling we're going to learn if it does pretty soon, and that's Vitreous.
Yeah, so numberplay making the play into Misery Mire, not really getting paid off for it. We'll see if he's punished here if Vitreous ends up being something. Though I guess in any case, this is good for Alaszun because numberplay, if this is a crystal, will have to do this.
Our wonderful trackers seem to indicate on Alaszun's side that it is a crystal, so I'm assuming he has map checked and learned this by now.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so yeah, numberplay is going to have to do the double dip for Vitreous, though it's not that bad. I mean, that first room with the Wizrobes is kind of annoying, but like after that, it's a pretty. You're not really wasting that much time to go get to Vitreous. Oh man, the freeze order is bodying numberplay. That's scary. He's on a half heart and needs to get to Ice Tea Room without getting hit.
It's not too bad, I don't think, because there's a couple hearts in this room, and you can just go down, get to Ice Tea, finish your cane collection, it'll be fine, right?
That would be the hope, but you see how careful he's being with that room in particular, just not wanting to fall, and he does get his cane, thankfully, because there is a decent chance that he might have, bailed on Ice Palace even, and not wanting to come all the way back down if he died. But, obviously a couple of frustration slashes after picking up that red cane, which he could have had, 25 minutes in?
I think the frustration was more that he went into Ice Palace wanting a glove and didn't get one, and instead he got more work.
Yeah, that's definitely possible as well. Though we're immediately going to get to see a decent push into Turtle Rock here. So, your prediction is that the progression is here. I tend to agree. So let's see what it is. What do you think it's going to be?
I mean, honestly, you gotta expect a glove is the single most important remaining thing. Like, a glove just opens so much.
This is true. So we have a couple of important entrances left to look for. We still haven't found Eastern Palace or Desert Palace or the Desert Palace boss yet, which are, you know, definitely could be hiding behind either, you know, one of the boots locked entrances or one of the glove locked entrances.
And you also, if you find both your gloves and your mirror, you pick up your flute and you get access to the Mire region, which, like, I gotta feel that's kind of a treasure trove. Especially because I don't think we've seen the dam yet either, which we don't have flippers, so we still are a while away from making the swamp play anyway, but not bad odds. You need to do this before the seed ends.
Alright, so it looks like Alaszun is getting close to wrapping up the item portion of Misery Mire, and we're going to get to the ever so fun Fighter Sword Vitreous fight.
So here's a big decision number play has to make. I think the only decision you can make, but he might prove me wrong, is you have to steal the key and just keep going and not check the vanilla big key chest here in Turtle Rock.
Oh man, that is a tough choice. That is a tough call to make.
Because if you open this door right now, you make Trinex. Well, you now have a situation where you either can't go to Laser Bridge, or Trinex is behind all 4 Turtle Rock small keys. And for all you know, Laser Bridge is desert right.
Oh man, yeah. Oh, this is tough. You know, this could, and he didn't get an item there, so.
Like, I would seriously be considering
reset,
hard resetting.
Yeah, I think that's the right play. You know, especially with the Turtle Rock main being so close to the Sanctuary exit. You know, I mean, like, it's right there in CAC. Oh, wow.
Just don't save and quit. No, just hard reset. Get your key back.
That could be painful. If that Turtle Rock key is somewhere, you know, like on pedestal, or, you know, somewhere that's just really far out of the way, he's going to feel that later.
I just finally got a side of Twitch chat. Lord Zenu, why can't Laser Bridge be desert right? Have we seen it and I've forgotten it?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it very well could be. I've not seen Desert Right that I can remember. All right, so Alaszun's on his way to the Vitreous fight, and here we go. He's gonna be chucking some bombs. He got a bomb upgrade apparently. Which is gonna make this fight a little bit quicker, though he just got zapped.
Yeah, the lightning isn't really that strong, so he's probably not too broken up over that. And he has a potion, and if he feels like the game's running too fast, he can turn on his blue cane, so stuff's going on.
Vitreous with the accuracy, man.
For real though, blue cane would be terrible here because you can't spin with the blue cane active.
Yeah, he couldn't actually do anything with that. And now he's moving toward the bit more scary hammer strats. And getting relentlessly hunted by those eyeballs. Again with the accuracy from Vitreous. The 3rd time he's been hit by that lightning.
I feel like he's using... Well, he's about to learn why blue cane doesn't work.
Conserve that magic,
like,
man.
It just doesn't work. You cannot spin attack with the blue cane out, and it's... Blame the original programmers.
Yeah, and I mean, that would be fine. Like, if a little slow, that would be fine if he had the Master Sword, because he could just, slash his way to victory, but not here, unfortunately. So it looks like he's much more in control of this fight, playing a little bit more conservative now that he's used up his 2 potions, kind of riding that side wall.
And speaking of riding that sidewall, he's showing a bit of knowledge here. So you would think Vitreous shoots lightning, you want to stay near a wall. It's logical. What you might not immediately realize is that the left wall is safer than the right wall because hitboxes.
I was unaware. Uh-oh. We're not out of the woods yet. This hopping eyeball. Oh, Alaszun,
If he
get this
uses
done.
fighter spins, it's a bit
Oh
easier.
no.
Oh. This is another case you seriously consider hard resetting for your potions back. You didn't find anything, right? Skullwood's big key, I guess he figures he has to keep that.
And so I just watched Numberplay pick up the treasures in Turok. I did not see anything of note. And have we seen Desert Ledge? Oh no, he doesn't have a glove, so he can't get any further in desert entrances there either. So is Vidi the answer?
Well, yeah, I was really amused. I was laughing a bit because it was desert left after all my talk about how this could be desert right.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's without the glove. That's equally useless at the moment.
In some ways, it's even worse because if you find a glove, there is absolutely nothing stopping your mirror from being behind that cave.
Oh man. So Numberplay, one thing Numberplay did find is an extra pod small key. So he now has 3, so he's going to go hunt pod, which makes a lot of sense, honestly. Though we didn't see anything from Alaszun in here, right? There's nothing that Numberplay can check with that additional key that Alaszun couldn't.
Yeah, I'm really thinking Vitreous probably drops progression. And Alaszun is going to be frustrated with himself over the situation. Numberplay is in just as bad of a boat, really, but he's going to feel better about it, I guess, because for him it was just sequence.
Yes, yeah, I mean, like, and it wasn't like skipping Ice Palace when he did was horrible. And Alaszun also opting to take the center door, so we'll see if he takes advantage of a hard reset.
I don't know about these strats that are just playing so fast and loose with Turtle Rock small keys. Like, it's not like there's 4 left in the world for you to find. This is dangerous.
This is true, and I mean, like, I can kind of understand it though, because, like, in this mode, because you usually find so many Turtle Rock entrances, you usually can play pretty fast and loose with your Turtle Rock small keys. It's not uncommon for you to just have a spare key that goes unused after you've already killed Trinex. But, not this time. This time it's objectively wrong. So I'm really racking my brain here trying to think of anything but Vitreous that this can be. I mean, like, obviously it's impossible to know that, every runner has checked every entrance.
We still have that back of skull entrance.
Oh yeah, no, that's a good one. And that was skipped by Numberplay too, so, both players, at this point, equal on items, mostly equal on progression. Numberplay. I'm sorry. Alaszun still has not picked up his fire rod yet, which is kind of surprising. Oh no, he still hasn't found Tower Parry. He doesn't know where it is, so that makes sense.
Yeah, between the two, given that they've, well, unless Alaszun hard resets here, which for his sake I hope he does.
No.
No.
Oh. Oh boy. So we are on a
Gain
hunt.
nothing. Just if you hard reset there, you just gain a TR key and you lose nothing. But that's something for the interview. For now, the world we live in is that
Yeah,
they've spent that key. Though worth noting, Alaszun has not opened the door to Laser Bridge yet, and he can still save the key that way.
Oh, that is true. Yeah. Numberplay having pushed all the way to Laser Bridge. So that's got. It looks like. Oh no, he's going right back. He's going to do the same thing.
Yeah, but when he only finds a pod key there and sees the connector doesn't give him anything, he's just saved. He can just, tap that little reset button and things will work out for him. It'll be a good time.
All right, so here's a new set of locations. Numberplay is going to push past Tower Room onto the east side of Ganon's Tower, which, after finding that second Ganon's Tower small key, it's not unfathomable that the third one's out there somewhere accessible.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't think the key logic means they're going to want to do or need to do this now, but it's never bad to make a play that's skipping an item you don't care if you ever find it. Because what the game could want them to do is kill Vitreous for a GT small key and then do this, or something like that. And if you skip that link, you're not going to be broken up over it.
Yeah, that's true. Crossworld Keysanity can be a little bit. You can be a little bit more fluid with the your progression through the logic.
But yeah, as long as he continues to the end of this, he's going to get the small key. He can just leave GT with that, and it'll be like he lost nothing. And then he can make... Well, he doesn't have the... Oh man, what if he finds Bo here? Now that would be thrilling.
Yeah, Bo would be great, because he could just, push straight up Ganon's Tower, find Techwell. Alright, so here we got mapped again in this tower. A glove! There we go! Oh my god, wow. Glove and mirror on that right side. That really breaks things wide open.
Oh, that's great. I think we can safely say that Numberplay's in a very powerful position right now. The world just opened.
Yeah, so let's just see what he decides to do with it.
And like the beauty of the GT small keys is it doesn't matter at all if Numberplay ever figures them out. Because he has enough GT small keys now to do the Ascent. The only reason he can't do it is because of the Mimics. So he can just make the play.
Yeah, so as soon as the bow's in play, do you think he goes for it? I mean, I guess it's dependent upon, how far he is in that point and, how far he is from go mode. Because there's now so many locations that are locked behind upper GT, with Cackwell being at the Ganon drop.
And surprising no one, immediately the glove entrances start giving us density as we find Mini Moldorm Cave.
Oh, okay, so Alaszun did a hard reset after finding Laser Bridge. So he did conserve that key.
Yeah, and that means, based on where he knows Laser Bridge exits, we know whenever he finally gets the Fire Rod, he's going to probably quickly go to right side GT, get his glove and mirror. We know mirror leads to flute. And then the only question left for him is going to be, where's the other glove? And I don't need another Turtle Rock key.
Yeah, so that eventual save and reset from Numberplay could come in huge still. So...
Yeah, because, I mean, it was said in chat as a troll, but, like, it's a real thing. What if the last Turtle Rock small key is on the pedestal? We've seen nothing to preclude that.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that the pedestal is going to get checked since they both have book if they ever decide to chase the back of Skullwood's entrance. At least on numberplay's part, since he does have the mirror as well now. And there's the Desert Palace boss, and this is beatable with the big key they have.
Yeah, that's true. We haven't seen Hookshot Cave yet, and that would be valuable for a lot of reasons. Though at this point, given that we haven't seen Desert Right, I would bet good money that one of Hookshot Cave's 2 entrances is Desert Right.
Could be. Yeah, that seems likely.
I mean, for all we know, Hookshot Cave branches between GT and Desert Right, and we'll never find it. And that would be tragic.
Hookshot Cave has had a whole bunch of trash for me lately, so I'd be fine with never finding that one.
And I don't know if that was trolling or serious, but Turtle Rock Big Chest cannot connect to a must connect. The logic is smart enough not to do that.
Oh yeah, no, it would, because there's no other way to get there. And only a green pendant at Desert Palace. So interesting though that we also have not found Sahasrara.
Yeah, at this point, you already have the blue pendant. Watching the green one fall, you don't feel bad about it. Because, you know, you find Sahas, he's a 4-item cave instead of a 3-item cave. And now you're 1 pendant from Pedestal. And, you know, if Pedestal's going to happen, it might as well happen organically, right?
Yeah, I mean, sure, why not? Play to the audience. So numberplay is going to go check, it looks like, the race game, which I think you said did have a key.
Yeah, this had a key. They both spied it really early, but obviously the mirror was a little bit of an issue, so this is our first time coming this way.
Right, the mirror leads to Mushroom, and numberplay is going to take a free bottle refill. That bee doing work on the fairy, whose rewards with another bee.
A worse bee.
Strict B downgrade. B-.
I was a pretty good student. I didn't get many B-minuses.
But numberplay did not go after the race game key?
No, he didn't. Now, looking at the slate of keys that he has, he'll probably be fine for that. His worst case scenario, I think, is that that's the Desert Small.
Or the Turtle Rock Small.
Oh, wait, yeah, you're right. That was a big mistake.
Yeah, he needs that Turtle Rock Small now. He might not realize it yet fully. Like I know that like this seeming mistake that both players have made that Alaszun, you know, recovered from with his hard reset in, you know, just burning too many Turtle Rock Small keys. Like, you know, I could definitely see myself making that same mistake just because of the way entrance usually plays out with Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it's kind of something easy to forget, honestly, because, you know, if you're playing non-entrance Keysanity, I mean, for one, that would be a tragedy. You should play entrance Keysanity. But if you just happen to be doing it by an accident or something, then you quickly realize Turtle Rock small keys are the most important small keys. But then you play entrance, they don't matter at all. And when you only have the front of Turtle Rock, you have to be able to flip that switch, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it can be hard to do sometimes. You know, just, you know, thinking on the fly. You know, you're in a tournament match. Loser goes to loser's bracket. Like, I can definitely you know, sympathize with that from both runners. And Alaszun about to pick up his fire rod, while numberplay has just gotten his flute. Though that doesn't really lead to anything, unfortunately, without the mitts.
So some people would say that hint is worthless. I would say that hint has value for two important reasons. For one, it's one heck of a pep talk. That gets you excited to fight Moldor. And for two, they now have, the entire time they're fighting, fooling around with this bumper, maybe falling the Moldorm to think, what am I going to do with a fire rod?
That's true. Thinking time in this mode is pretty vital. Sometimes, like, more frequently than I'd like to admit, I just need to just pause and just think about what can possibly be the case. Where am I going to possibly be going? What connectors did I miss? Just because it's so much to keep track of in this mode. But that's part the puzzle. That's the draw. It's part of why it's so fun.
And speaking of what we've done in general, like, if you just look at Numberplay's screen and tracker and really think about his situation in life right now, he still is missing a bunch of keys. He's missing the bow. He only has one sword, no boots, no flippers. 17 hearts.
Oh my god. Yeah, I just gotta look at that heart count. Holy god. That is a lot of hearts. Yeah, you you have to be thinking, what's the seed doing to me, please? Though I do like, in terms of routing, I do like the decision to go grab that flute because you're going to go get all of these out of the way rock lifts, and this gets you to all of them right away. So I thought that was pretty good.
The flute has compound value, really, because he's already probably about made up the time for the flute just with these overworld plays. It's seeming really probable the flute will be required eventually in order to get into the Mire region. And it'll just keep adding up over time.
Yeah, I mean, we have not found any other connector that would reasonably lead us. Where is Numberplay going?
Numberplay is going back to Desert Left to check Desert Back.
Oh, okay. No, that makes sense. Okay. I gotcha. I was like, I saw that 11 of 12 item completion, and I was like, what are you chasing here, man? But no, that makes a lot of sense.
Now, going through Turtle Rock like he is right now, this is also giving him a lot of time on this auto-scroller to just look at that key count, see that 0, and connect the dot of, oh man, I gotta chase small keys.
Yeah, not something you're really looking to do at this point. I mean, you've already gotten the 2 major pain small keys in the Thieves Town one and the Swamp one out of the way. So, like, you're like, if I find some small keys, maybe, I'm going to pick them up because I still need Desert potentially, but they're not. Now he has to have that as super high on his priority list.
Yeah, Alaszun making the play for Glove and Mirror. At this point, it's probably pretty safe to say that Numberplay is strictly ahead if it works out that the Turtle Rock Small isn't a problem.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. And a shield for his trouble. That was a long walk for a shield. So where to next?
So obviously you have the additional glove play in Southeast Dark World, which you hate going back for that, but your options are limited. You could do Catfish. That would be pretty appealing, I would think.
He also has the top of Hyrule Castle.
Now, here's an important point that it's so easy to put yourself into this trap. Remember, like, an hour and a half ago, we learned that the Castle Tower entrance is a cave with an item?
Yes.
You still don't have Master Sword or Cape.
That is true. So this location is going to be orphaned a little bit, but I still like this because you're still hunting so many high-value locations. You still have Sahaswell out there. You still have Hookshot Cave out there. You still have Hype Cave out there. I mean, the likelihood of finding one of those up here and then, you know, just getting that sword or the thing that you need is pretty nice. And here's Ice Rod Cave we haven't seen yet. Nice randomizer.
So before anyone asks, is this even randomized? I think after an hour 57 of A Link to the Past and the glove not being present for most of it, we can probably safely say yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is randomized. I'm almost positive. And Alaszun doing the race game, so we're gonna see what this key is. Only to Misery Mire. Okay, so that's not a punish.
That's the single least valuable key that could have been.
So have we seen? We haven't seen Dark Potion Shop yet, have we?
Have we? It's been available for a very long time.
Yeah, off that hammer. It seemed like numberplay was pretty complete. Chat telling us that Alaszun checked Dark Potion, and numberplay also passing it up, so he also must have checked Dark Potion. So can't be anything important, but Catfish certainly could.
Yeah, you have a connector that goes back to Southeast Dark World, but what you totally can do, and I think would be a pretty strong play, is check Catfish. You can either mirror and do Zora, which I'm pretty sure neither's done, or you can go back and fake Flipper and do Southeast Dark World.
Yeah, I feel like that whole sequence is probably worthwhile doing until you find something. And there we go, the Catfish coming through with the boots, unlocking yet more locations.
So I know we're not in the habit of asking questions like this, but what would a Catfish do with a pair of boots?
I mean, what was he doing with the Quake Medallion anyway? I mean, like, I know, like, lore-wise, but, like...
I think it's a Japanese thing that Catfish are somehow associated with earthquakes, because, I mean, think of the Pokemon Whiscash.
I would not have thought of that, honestly. Oh, and Alaszun making an interesting play here. He's going back for those Power Glove lock locations in Ice Palace.
This is a spooky play because all this time later, we still don't have the Ice Palace big key, but I mean, it's also, you kind of have to ask this late, what are really the odds that both the Ice Palace big key is something I'm going to get before the very end, and the Ice Palace big chest has something absolutely required?
Yeah, as soon as I start asking myself those questions, though, I mean, like, this mode is very good at making you question your sanity, I must say. But as soon as you start asking yourself those questions, I like, guarantee that that's going to be what happens. Like, it just always seems to work out that way, where you're like, what are the odds that this one thing could be the... And then it is. It just is. Though we already have had one vanilla big key within a dungeon, or, you know, semi-vanilla with the Ganon's Tower big key being, like, right next to where it's normally at. Maybe we could find the Ice Palace big key here?
Yeah, but Ganon's Tower has, as I think many people in this chat are aware, 22 locations that it could be within its own dungeon. Ice Palace big key has 6.
Yeah, we've already checked 4 of them, so. So, what are the boots? Oh, numberplay checking the Light World Death Mountain descent. or the Southwest Foothills, which I think was a great name, by the way, on the hint.
We had long discussions about that, and it's
I'm glad you
hard to
did.
name these caves.
Oh yeah, no, I think honestly the hints so far have done a real great job. Like I've really appreciated the hints, you know, knocking out some of those out of the way locations, you know, saving some time in the seeds, but also, you know, I think that was a brilliant name in terms of as soon as you hear Southwest Death Mountain Foothills, you're like, oh, that's the one. I know what that is. A small key to Desert Palace in Ganon's Tower off of the boots. And numberplay also going to push to that double firebar room, it looks like.
Yeah, a foothill is... You actually see this with real mountains. There are small hills, usually at the base of any mountain range, that extend out quite a ways from the mountains, and those tiny hills are usually called the foothills. And that's kind of what we're going for with that, because it's the foothill, and I think we use southwest to give more indication about like the direction, trying to help out there.
Alright, so Alaszun going to be taking on Cold Stare here. Hopefully this fight goes a little bit better than Vitreous did for him earlier. He's a little low on magic, so he can't just, you know, fire rod spam. Oh, no, he has a blue potion. Never mind. He can totally fire rod spam. While numberplay is immediately chasing that Desert Palace for the shovel.
Speaking of playing fast and loose with keys, I would point out that numberplay left GT with no GT small keys. There's a real scenario where he needs to do upper GT, and the GT key he'll need for it is up there, so he's going to have to make a really hard call eventually to go up there.
Oh man, I hadn't considered that. You know, with two GT small keys still being out there, you know, that's a little less egregious than, you know, just failing to hard reset when you could just save the key. But, you know, that is entirely possible that, you know, that difficult decision will be in front of him at some point. And
yeah, because like something I often like to use is kind of like a mindset to take into every randomizer. I play quite a few different ones. Is winning is about both making the right calls and hard decisions and preventing yourself from having to make them whenever possible.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. And the shovel leads to nothing, so that Desert Palace small key was just a complete debate. And we've already
worth noting that numberplay paused to switch the shovel back to the flute. He may not be aware of kind of the bonus quick swap feature. You hit L and R at the same time while you have a two-state item like the shovel and flute equipped. It'll switch between the states.
No way. That is news to me.
Oh, my co-commentator didn't know that either.
No, I absolutely did not. I mean, like I never play with quick swap because, you know, it's only really allowed in this mode. So today I learned.
Yeah, it's not the biggest deal in the world. Like over the course of a run, it might save 5 seconds if you're slow, but it's a nice little thing. Now you can totally optimize which boomerang you're using.
This is true. That's a big value right there. So, you know, we can kind of start to see a little bit of the desperation in these runners, I think. You know, numberplay immediately going to chase that one location shovel off of Desert Palace. They're just running out of stuff to do. Numberplay's gonna go kill Vitreous, so this could be big.
I would really expect this to either be the other glove or a Ganon's Tower small key.
Yeah, Ganon's Tower of Small Keys seems like it could be likely. Though, if this doesn't pan out, you know where to.
I mean, your worst case scenario with this play to Vitreous is you had a slow boss fight and left with a crystal, so you're not going to be too broken up over this. Worth noting, if this is the other glove, in addition to, opening up mid stuff and putting anything behind one glove in logic without GT, that opens Spike Cave, which is, it's easy to find early, and I know they saw it early and just forget about it forever.
That's true, and, that Spike Cave, it's not that far out of the way, but it's definitely in a place that you're not going back to readily, which is up in the Lost Woods. Like, you're not just going to randomly walk by it and be like, oh yeah, that's where it was,
Yeah, and, like, Spike Cave is so painful to route because it's usually really late when you have the combination of hammer, glove, access to the cave itself, ability to survive the cave, plus it's an appealing play to go through that long cave, drain all your magic, and you almost always have to save and quit out of it.
That's true, yeah. Like, the backways trip is not fun either. Alright, so numberplay also leading off his Vitreous fight with using most, if not all, of his bombs, which I do like. These bombs do some serious work at the start of this fight.
Unlike with Alaszun, Vitreous was a pretty poor shot there. We saw lightning arc all around numberplay and just not get hit.
So yeah, also too, doing the Vitreous fight this late, you're at 210, no bow, still on fighter sword. Like, my heart is racing on this fight if I'm having to do it right now, because I know, like, if I screw up, like, I'm, in terrible shape.
I mean, honestly, if I'm in either of these runners' positions right now, I feel like, man, I've like last location to everything. I'm still on fighter sword. I'm not even really close to go mode. It's 210. I'm just going through the motions. This race is over. I've lost. But they both are thinking that, and one of them is going to be wrong.
Yeah, it's true. I don't think there's a clear leader at this point, honestly, and depending on what Vitreous drops here.
Like, I think you have to favor numberplay's position. He's ahead by almost any metric that isn't Turtle Rock Small Keys. And there's a lot of ways that could just not matter. They still need to find a lot of stuff. If the last Turtle Rock Small's just in the way, it's a lot of excitement for nothing.
Yeah, the potential irresponsibility with keys coming back to bite him, I think, is the main way that numberplay ends up falling behind here. Oh, a big key. Dude, pod.
That is intriguing, but I don't think it's something you follow right now.
There isn't really a reason, because neither of the big key locations in pod are in logic. You need all 6 small keys to put them in logic, correct?
Yeah, and one of them is hard locked by Bo anyway.
Oh yeah, of course. So yeah, that was not, what we were hoping for. Oh my word.
And we find what the hints would call a cold bee.
A cold bee?
Well, yeah, the cave's icy.
It would actually say that? That's pretty neat.
Yeah, if it's referring to that, particular interior, that interior is a cold bee.
Oh, Alaszun's about to do something sweet. There we go. He's
So yeah,
initiated the
this
fake
bomb
flipper.
jump is... Shoutouts to Kern, who discovered this after many years of this game being played. That's a really useful bomb jump. I think it's useful in all randomizer modes, but it's really good in entrance. It just branches the Northwest Dark World and the East Dark World, when East Dark World access is often just either not available or just really inconvenient, like it is here.
So you're telling me it's one I should learn?
Yeah, now, I will say, Alaszun did... He basically man-moded it, where he just did the bomb jump while holding the bomb and tried to time it. Which, you can do that, but there's a setup where you kind of hook around the tree and pull the bomb with a certain timing to kind of manually time out the bomb's timer.
I will have to see that, because I was only aware of, you know, practicing is the only method. So
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure both ways require practice, but like actually having a setup for it seems like it would be a much better way. And there's Sahasrara.
we know powder's not important, so that kills our green pendant we already have.
And the flippers, there we go.
Yeah, come on, number play. Yeah, like, you have 2 pendants. And the book. You gotta check pedestal.
Yep, here he
Even
goes.
as someone who thinks checking pedestal is usually a waste of time, you gotta check pedestal.
Bless RNG, Turtle Rock Small. Oh, just Couch Cash. Alright, so numberplay is going to be immediately off to check these flipper lock locations, which have to lead to something. Maybe
Yeah,
like
it's kind
Hype
of
Cave?
funny that those flippers don't open anything for us effectively, but both players have just not been going for fake flippers, even as both have been struggling to find things.
That's true. For whatever reason, I find myself... Oh wait, no, he wasn't in fake flipper. We were just talking about fake flipper. I thought he almost got sniped. But wouldn't have mattered with the real flippers. But yeah, I find myself not doing fake flipper as much in entrance as maybe I should. I don't know, you know, finding entrances can be really valuable, but, you know, sometimes getting screwed up on the logic is not worth it for me.
But we did get a mirror shield, which adds a couple frames of lag to just really give number play the chance to soak in and enjoy the seed.
Alright, so the treasure chest game
and
is
the
nothing.
18th heart, man, this is really paying off.
That's a big game right there. And then we're gonna get the Waterfall of Wishing, which we also have not seen yet.
So I haven't been watching Kern's pickups of like random standing items. I don't know if the 20 Heart Dream is alive. I do know the Full Clear Swamp Palace Dream is alive, and other than the big chest about to be played out.
Yeah, absolutely. So finding the dam here is, you know, exactly what you want. You're gonna check the drowned item, and then I assume just go straight for Swamp Palace.
Yeah, it's really likely that Swamp Palace has both your progression and most of your remaining hearts.
And there's the bow as the drowned item. Alright.
Okay, so here's the interesting thing. Swamp is 10 items, Upper GT is 9. You really are hoping doing Swamp that you find a GT small in there.
But Numberplay looks like he's going straight for GT. without the... Oh wait, no, he's going for Swamp. Okay, they're both in the same spot. I was getting nervous.
Yeah, because number plays key management is definitely a storyline here, and well, he hasn't killed Cold Stare yet, so that could be a great find for him.
Yeah, with how many items we still have left? We're getting... What do we have left? Let's start to... Probably reasonable to start thinking about what is needed for Go mode. So they don't necessarily need to find Eastern.
For all we know, Eastern's at GT.
That's true. So they do need a sword. They do need a sword in order to be able to kill Ganon. They have the Ice Rod.
Yeah, I think that's it. He just needs that last Turtle Rock small key. Oh man, that would be the worst feeling in the world if he still doesn't have a sword, so it doesn't come into play yet. But if that's his go mode and he does a long search for it, he's not going to be happy.
No, yeah, especially at this point, you know, you finally are getting the feeling that you're closing in on the end of the seed, and then that, you know, a mistake from 30-40 minutes ago coming back to bite you.
Though it's worth noting that we don't know where Mitts are, and Alaszun will need the Mitts to avoid having the same scenario.
That is true, because he will... No, yeah, because he'll need to get to Laser Bridge that way.
And how this happened, for anyone who hasn't seen the whole race thus far, so the entrance to Turtle Rock Front is relatively easy to access. The other three entrances, the Eye Laser entrance is under Bonk Rocks, the Sanctuary Bonk Rocks. The big chest is under one of the heavy rocks, and gloves weren't found forever. And Desert left is Laser Bridge. So as they ran out of options with 3 Turtle Rock small keys and Turtle Rock big key and Cane and Lamp and Fire Rod in Number Play's case, it just felt like the play to clear out Turtle Rock from the front.
Yeah, I mean that's a solid summary of how we have arrived here at this point, at this moment in this race. So, yeah, very unusual scenario and entrance to be hunting a Turtle Rock small key, but, you know, here we are.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, it's interesting, is there was really no value at all other than a pod small key in all of Turtle Rock, so... logically, you don't have many hints about where the remaining Turtle Rock key is.
Oh yeah, because if there was something there that like logically locked out some items, then maybe you could, you know, deduce something, but you know, you really can't. Alaszun about to pick up his Ice Rod, getting a nice little optimization there with the what do you call it, super speed on the way out.
So as we know, based on the current situation, Alaszun is actually almost completely safe from the Ice Palace big chest, because he has 2 options to finish Turtle Rock, either the Mitts or the Turtle Rock small key, and at most one of them is in that chest. And there are 3 swords out there to find, and at most one of them's in the Ice Palace small or big chest.
Yeah, this is true. So, you know, Alaszun's, after checking the you know, final glove and boots locations, is going to be hot on Number Play's heels. So it's really going to be up to where that Turtle Rock small key is, or the Mitts.
And it's worth noting right there that Number Play just got his Turtle Rock small key, or not his Turtle Rock, his GT small keys, so now he can clear upper GT without worry.
Yeah, if he wants to, I think that he probably is going to end up going for pod, though. Like, that's got to be the next thing, because he now has all the small keys he needs to get.
Yeah, like, going into pod and finishing it off, it's a pretty safe and easy play. He might even finish Ice Palace while he's at it. Because with the flute, Ice Palace isn't that hard to get back to. But, like, you gotta feel the 9 items in upper GT, it's nearly an inevitability the sword's up there, and it would almost be an argument to go up there and do it sooner rather than later, just so you have that sword for as much content as possible.
Yeah, that gauntlet with Fighter Sword is pretty annoying, though. I mean, like, you're not going to die or anything with 18 hearts, but, like, it still is annoying and slow.
But for what it's worth, between Fire Rod and Silver Arrows, you can kind of BS a lot of the fights.
That is true. We have another very slow fight with Argus here with the Fighter Sword. Sped up a little bit now with the Fire Rod.
Though I will note that Number plays 3 cycling this with the Fire Rod, 4 cycling because he went for that spin, when he could have 1 cycled it with the Silver Arrow.
That is true. That is something that probably should have been done. And there's another Ganon's Tower small key.
And with that, that puts the well into logic.
Yeah, so I think that's probably where he's going to go. I mean, he's right here. Oh no, he's going to do pod, I think. I'm trying to remember where Palace of Darkness is. I'm kind of blanking on it.
I believe Palace of Darkness is the Red Shield Shop entrance.
No, yeah, you're right. So he's going for Ice.
Ice is a pretty defensible play, because Cold Stare is still pretty quick with his current equipment. Like, his sword's terrible, but he has Bombos and Fire Rod, he can melt them, and he can get all the rest of the chest here, and 4 chest isn't bad value at all. Whereas pod is most of the way clear, and you have the annoying trip to the pod big chest that you always hate making.
Yeah, that's true. And, you know, he has the big key, so this play is completely safe for him, whereas for Alaszun it was, you know, a bit of a gamble. So this will also be big when we see what is in here in this big chest.
On Alaszun's side, it looks like he's about to find Sahas and thus get a little more progress in this seed.
So that's going to give him his flippers, which he did, I think, just go to the island. Did he just, like, fake flipper there? Yeah, he did, and then he saved and quit out because he couldn't get out. So, yeah, he's going to have to go immediately back there to get the Waterfall of Wishing to get the dam. Oh man, this seed has been, like, very rude, like, just all the way throughout. I mean, most entrance seeds on average are, you know, at some point going to be rude to you, but, like, you know, as we said at the beginning, these are 2 pretty experienced runners, and this seed is giving them one hell of a time, so...
I mean, the seed, it's been very kind. It hasn't wasted their time with stupid items like swords, you know.
Who needs them?
Hopefully not you if you want to play this seed.
I mean, you got the hammer, just, you know, just deal with it. Like, at least they have a sword. I mean, they're at least kind with finding the first one.
I mean, you couldn't be baited into Blue Pendant Mothula without it.
This is true. Even the sword can be rude sometimes. So, Alaszun going into Swamp Palace, but has not yet done the thing. He's still gonna do the thing with the dam and the stuff.
Apparently, I can't count somehow, because that was another GT small key. So now that's definitely all of them.
It has to be. So, yeah, I mean, we saw 3, and then we know they had at least 1 to get where they were in Ganon's Tower. So, yeah, they definitely have them all now. So, you know, everything seems to be pointing in the direction of clear upper GT.
And kind of what's unfortunate for Alaszun here is he needs to use those flippers to find the waterfall, but he doesn't know that. He's doing things that we know aren't going to help him. That shovel is just delayed disappointment.
I mean, you just picked up these flippers that you were very, very late to. I feel like you have to chase them. I mean, like, it's not, you know, the swim to Hobo is kind of slow, but it's not that bad. And then, you know, that Waterfall of Wishing is just a flute to 8 away, so... And we, you know, notably still have not seen Hype Cave. There is still a 5 treasure location just, you know, waiting out there to be found.
So yeah, now we have number play making the play on Pod, which is logical enough. He's just picking up his 6th crystal, and it would break my heart if he found a sword, then went to Turtle Rock and went up to that door.
Oh yeah, that would not be great. But yeah, this Turtle Rock key just, you know, the bane of both players right now. I mean, that is until we find the mitts.
Yeah, we are on number play's side. He needs the last Turtle Rock small key, and he needs a sword, and that's all he needs. Now, I don't want to invite sadness and trouble on our runners, but I would point out that it's entirely possible that Trinex drops the mitts.
Oh boy. There's the small key to Turtle Rock.
Wow. Okay, that's a critical find. Alaszun can kill Trinex. And if Alaszun finds the dam, that'll immediately lead him to the Drain Dam bow, and the Pod Big Key was in Swamp, right?
It was. I think it was the bomb chest or the first chest.
So Alaszun will be a sword from Go mode pretty quickly with that find.
Yeah, this is true. So, you know, Trinex incoming here.
It's also totally believable that Trinex will drop a sword. I've seen swords drop from bosses many a time.
Yeah, this is getting really interesting because, you know, as number play continues to push, he's going to be less and less likely to go out of his way for Spike Cave. Like, that is not a location that you, as you said earlier, really want to go out of your way to do.
So kind of a funny thing here Numberplay really doesn't want to see the mitts.
Yeah, I mean, it just opens up so much. You know, if he finds them, he's gonna chase them. You know.
I'd also like to shout out. We just got a raid from ZSR1. I'm going to guess that the other race is just concluded. We don't need to spoil it, but congratulations to all runners for getting through another entrance seed.
Yeah, shout outs. Thanks guys. Nice to see you all here. I hope you had a good race over on ZSR1. As Numberplay finishes off Helmasaur King to get his 6th crystal. Yeah, just one more needed. But catch everyone up to date. Numberplay is looking for a sword and a Turtle Rock small key as his final required items. Whereas Alaszun still has a little bit of work to do. He still has to go back and kill Vitreous. He has to find the dam. But once he does, all the items are pretty much right in front of him. So this race is pretty close. We actually know where the Turtle Rock small key is. It is in Spike Cave, which is in the Lost Woods. So Numberplay very much doesn't know it, but does not want to find Titan's mitts or anything that will lead him further away from going to that Spike Cave.
Yeah, the only spooky thing is that, like, it's entirely possible that all the remaining swords are mitts locked, right?
Oh man, just stop, man. These runners have had enough. It's so far into the seed.
Alaszun is skipping that chest because he hard reset out of there quite a while back. So Alaszun was just rechecking those chests, looking for that pod small key again, and now that he has it, he's done. He doesn't need to re-get the 20 rupees, the compass, whatever was in that stupid chest. He doesn't remember, I bet, and I don't either.
Yeah, that hard reset specifically is why he has the key that in his killing Trinex right now, and Numberplay does not, because Numberplay did not hard reset to reserve his key.
Well, in this case, not quite so much, because he found the 4th key, but it kept his option open. He could find either mitts or the key, and he happened to find the key.
Oh, right. Good point. Yeah, I'm sorry.
And yeah, Numberplay making the upper GT play. I agree with this play 100% based on what we know. If Trinex drops a sword, this is going to be a really costly play.
Yeah, so Alaszun struggling a little bit with the hammer Trinex fight, but fortunately had a blue potion in reserve to not be in any danger. Unfortunate bonk there on the easiest key dash in the game.
It's not a sword. I personally cannot think of any locations between both runners other than GT Climb where swords or items that would let them get swords could be. Well, no, there's the second chest in Aga Tower, but I mean, that's awful.
That would be awful. That would be really bad. And that is in a pretty poor location, too, in the southwest Dark Death Mountain door.
Oh, we have Super Bomb, and Mind of Me is saying that Hype Cave is behind Pyramid Fairy, which I didn't see the hint, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
I also did not see. I also did not see a hint for Hype Cave. Oh, there was a hint of 5 items behind Pyramid Fairy. I do remember there being a hint for 5 items somewhere, so that must be it. So interesting dilemma there. You know, you have this long, slow climb. You have 5 items at Pyramid Fairy that you can now get. I guess
well,
Alaszun
you have
can
to remember, one of the
right
5/6 crystals is Turtle Rock, so this is a decision only open to Alaszun.
Alright, so let's see what Hype Cave is delivering here. Bombs, the best boomerang, and a sword. There we go, and the mitts.
Okay, so that
Oh
would have
boy.
been perfect if mitts weren't in there.
Yeah, because now numberplay cannot find them.
Because yeah,
without killing Trinex.
All Alaszun needs to do is he needs to go to the waterfall, find the dam, and everything is on the path that leads from there.
Yeah, as soon as he goes to waterfall wishing, he's essentially in go mode. But you know, he's still got stuff to do, you know, I mean, he's still gonna go back and kill Vitreous. It's gonna take some time.
Yeah, like 100% he's going to check the Maya region for the dam, and he's probably going to find Eastern Palace, but at least we know he won't kill Armos Knights.
Oh right, because he's still looking for a bow, and numberplay has now found his sword. 2 of them in upper GT, those are the other 2.
I gotta say, those are the least surprising swords I've ever seen.
I mean, you're kind of right. it's pretty rude though.
So yeah, numberplay will finish this seed very, very fast as soon as he goes back to Spike Cave. And the good news for him, and the bad news for Alaszun here, is that he's not going to chase mitts, because mitts are behind Turtle Rock.
Yeah, you're right. And there's Eastern Palace for... Oh, no. I mean, we knew it had to be here. Or, I mean, I guess it could have been at Ganon's Tower, but it was likely to be here. And he's deciding not to.
Yeah, like, he's like, I need to find the dam. That's the most density. I'll just skip left side swamp, which is right. Everything is just on the path that flows from the dam.
Yeah, it's difficult to you know, describe just how unfortunate it was that those mitts were in that location for Alaszun. Like, all of these checks, like, he would have, like, if he didn't find those mitts, like, I guarantee he would just flute straight to Waterfall of Wishing. I mean, like, what else is there if he doesn't have the mitts?
And because there's 2 swords in upper GT, he's not even going to get tempered out of this.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a needless hunt right now. Whereas numberplay, it seems reasonably likely that he's gonna, you know, check this cack well, get nothing out of it, and then think, you know, what can I do? And hopefully the conclusion for him is, I have Spike Cave left, I need to go back.
I mean, between the cape and the 2 swords, he's kind of been beaten over the head that he should check the Aga Tower entrance, so he's going to get his Hera small key, and then he's going to... I mean, Spike Cave's about it. I can't even think of another play he has left.
Alright, and Alaszun doing the right thing too, so he's on the path. Oh no, he's checking Ice Palace. Well, I guess he'll check Ice Palace and then Waterfall of Wishing. Which also makes sense.
I gotta say, it felt pretty good, though, being correct that Hookshot Cave led to Desert Right. I'm thinking that's the last connector in the world.
It is. It has to be.
So
All right,
yeah,
so...
at this point, I feel like if numberplay remembers that he hasn't done Spike Cave, I think he has just run out of incorrect options.
So where's he gonna flute? 4 is not the right way to Spike Cave. Well, Alaszun has the dam, and you know he's got work ahead of him. But as soon as he gets the first chest in Swamp and gets the pod big, that's go for him, right?
Yeah, if he didn't go to the drain dam first, so he doesn't have his bow.
Oh no. Oh, why would you not do that? It's right there, you have the flute.
Now, if he skips left side swamp, the difference is trivial. But there's no guarantee at all he does that.
There's his pod. That's the ice big. The pod big is not too far behind it. Oh no, the pod big key is not here. The pod big key is on Vitreous. If I'm remembering properly now, because I wrongly associated that Ice Palace big key as the pod big key. That's on Vitreous. That's how numberplay got his. Because remember, he chased that. No, it's on. It is definitely on Vitreous. And for those of you who are just tuning in, Alaszun did take a very unfortunate death to Vitreous when he had to fight him with the fighter sword and no bow. So, I mean, reasonably, he should go back and do that. Like, he's got to do it anyway, so why not? It's not going to get any faster. I mean, especially if he gets the bow here pretty soon and gets to, you know, just silver arrow him down. So numberplay is going to...
Yeah, this is just a question of when will Alaszun pick up his bow, and, I mean, in general, numberplay has a pretty large buffer here. Because Alaszun has a try-next kill, but numberplay has Swamp done, Pod done, and Mire done already.
Oh, but numberplay's stuck.
He has a good 10 minutes to figure out that he needs to go to Spike Cave and still be ahead in this race.
He's stuck right now. He's in the tank. Oh wow, this is hard. This is hard to watch.
I think if he knows it's Spike Cave and he just doesn't know where it is, he has enough time to recheck all the entrances in the world, which feels awful. But he has the time to do it.
Alright, so
doesn't
he is pulling out the
realize
flute.
he's looking for Spike Cave, though, then I don't know.
That's not Spike Cave.
Because, yeah, Alaszun has made just, like, a ton of calls that happen to be incorrect. But I feel like he's on a path that will inevitably finish the seed.
Yeah, I mean, he has to. So, like, he's going to come here. Hopefully, I feel like he's going to probably go in for these 2 remaining items before he flutes to 7. We know he should flute to 7 right away and get his bow.
Spike Cave is at the entrance in the Lost Woods in the north.
Oh no, and this is desperate. We already got a hint that Mimic Cave was nothing. Like, it was a long time ago, but we definitely saw it.
Yeah, it's fine for now. It's... Because, like, Alaszun has so much work left to do. So, like, numberplay has the time to make these mistakes. But he just has to keep moving and keep checking, because if he just stares and it never comes to him, that's how Alaszun can win this race, even from this position.
Oh my gosh, so this is so tense. He just needs to flute to 3. Like, as soon as he flutes to 3, I'm pretty sure we know that he's got it.
Alaszun needs to flute to 7 is what needs to happen, though.
Yes. There he is. Okay, so there's the bow. That puts Alaszun into go mode. Nope, no, he still needs a pod big, which...
That puts him into go mode if he just boss rushes. He doesn't know it, but if he just finishes Mire, then he's going to get his pod big.
I mean, he has no reason not to finish Mire. You got to do it. You got the silver arrows now. The fight's not going any faster. Oh no.
Well, he'll get some of this time back because Gold Sword is a lot faster than Tempered Sword against Ganon, but this is not a positive play for Alaszun.
Oh wow. I just don't know what to say with this. It's, you know, coming down to numberplay just needing this one thing, and, you know, Alaszun's giving him all the opportunities in the world to go find it. It's just, you know, how good are your notes, man? Like, how good are the notes you've taken, either mentally or physically, on this seed?
Yeah, this is nuts. That, like, Alaszun has to be tilted because I know he's smarter than to make this decision. But it is 248 in, and I mean this seed's been it's been terrible for both of them. They're both probably just wondering, why haven't you done and put me out of my misery yet, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you can almost just like feel the desperation from both runners. Where, you know, sometimes you just like trick yourself where, you know you're playing against someone who's solid. You think they should be done, and so like it has to be something ridiculous, right? It couldn't just be something obvious, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you did just find a ton of signs to go up GT. You know, you got that GT key, you got your bow. It makes perfect sense. It's wrong, but it makes sense, right?
Yeah, it's just, you know, you get this late into the season. This is, you know, and, you know, this is nothing against the runners. I mean, like, it's hard to overstate, like, just how mentally taxing just doing an entrance randomizer seed is. Like, just completing one.
It's more than even just doing an entrance seed. Like, anyone who's played any competitive game, including races, rando or non-rando, you can totally relate. When you're in a competition and you don't feel great about your play, and let's be honest, rolling up on 250, not in go mode, you don't feel too great about how the seed's gone. I mean, it's just this feeling deep inside, and you know you're making it worse and worse, but you just can't shake it, you know?
Yeah, and, you know, numberplay 2 here, we did get a hint away from Tower of Hera basement, so, like, he knows this isn't the answer. He just is not piecing together that he did not do Spike. Meanwhile, Alaszun picking up his 2 swords in the same room.
And, like, not trusting your notes about hints, I guess, is a logical thing to do if you just have no clue. Like, you're moving, you're checking stuff, maybe I was an idiot and misread a hint. It's at least an attempt, you know?
Yeah, and, you know, kudos to numberplay, like, this is about one of the most frustrating things that can happen to you in an entrance randomizer. And, you know, he's fighting. You know, he's doing checks. He's, you know, trying to follow through and be complete as he can. All right, here's a flute to 3.
This was almost a move in the right direction, and then he pivoted.
So he's just checking density. Okay. All
If
right.
he just keeps checking entrances in this direction, the race is over, because if he bumps into Spike Cave, there's no way that Alaszun can finish 2 dungeons before he finishes 1.
Yeah. Oh no, he's laying some bombs. I think that's the frustration. I think he realizes it. Oh my god, and when he comes here and he gets this key, like, his heart's gonna be beating out of his chest, like, my god, I need to finish this game right now.
So, here's a question. If Alaszun had not done upper GT and had gone straight to Vitreous, what would this race look like? Because I think we know right now numberplay is, short of the meltdown of all time, going to win this race from this position.
Yeah. Oh, if he hadn't, so like, it would have taken him about half a GT climb to get to and kill Vitreous, right? And then I assume in the other half of the GT climb, he probably could have killed Helmasaur, right? Like that time seems to map out. Like neither of those dungeons are that far away.
To answer the logic about TR key logic, the front connector from Turtle Rock is in logic with fewer than 4 keys if you can't access any of the other entrances with all items in the game. So that's almost never going to happen in cross keys.
And so I don't quite remember where Misery Mire is. Is that where Alaszun is going right now?
Yeah, Misery Mire's down here.
I think there was an easier way to get here. I think there was a portal that was it the back of Old Man or something? At this point, I mean, like, Tilt is very obviously set in.
Now, the reason I ask about how it would be is, like, it would have been, I think, really close if Alaszun had made the play for Vitreous, because he might have almost been first to Ganon, but it would have been really close, and it would have been Master Sword versus Tempered Sword on Ganon.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we could have had a, really close finish in our hand. It's not going to happen at this point, but...
Yeah, it's definitely a factor that of the remaining bosses, like, Trinex is a pretty quick boss. Even if you have to enter from the big chest entrance, I mean, it's faster than Mire, that's for sure. Mire is just a long trip to the boss.
Yeah, that's true. And so numberplay about to finish his final boss here before Ganon. And I feel like this is going to feel so bad for Alaszun because the timing's just about right where he's going to get to Vitreous, kill him, get that big key, and then the Dun's going to come.
Yeah, I think numberplay is going to manage the sub 3 here. I think Alaszun is going to miss it based on the current timing.
Yeah, because, Alaszun has still got to, getting to the back of Pod, getting to Helmasaur King is also quite a walk. So, yeah, I don't think sub 3 is in the cards. Yeah, I mean, this race overall was super interesting, like from start to finish, in terms of just the layout of the seed and the decisions that were made. Kind of it swung back and forth a couple of times. This was everything that was promised. With a little bit of twists and turns along the way. And here we go, the Pod Big Key coming in for Alaszun, which he cannot be happy about. While numberplay goes to town on Ganon. And our Reshimmer brings up a great point. That Vidi death where he had him on the final stages and just used his blue potions a little too aggressively and the hammer a little too aggressively. you know, if he has that pod big key in hand, this is over in his favor by about the same margin.
Honestly, it's probably over in his favor by a much bigger margin. Because, like, if he had that pod big key earlier, that might have changed his decision about whether to check the dam before or after swamp. 1 item from go mode versus 2. I mean, he definitely wouldn't have climbed GT. And he would have had all the time from a second trip through Mire. Yeah, almost no doubt, if not for that death, Alaszun would win this race.
All right, it's one more shot here. And there we go. Number play has finished off Ganon. And need his SRL time. I don't have it. Hold on. Number play has finished with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 57 minutes, and 31 seconds. GG number play. And so, to his credit, Alaszun looks like he is going to finish this out. I mean, he's on the road. There's not a whole lot left.
Yeah, he knows all he has to do. He just has to kill Helmisar King, which 19 hearts, blue mail, gold sword, silver arrows. It's free. Just wrap it up and move on with your life.
I mean, but, you know, getting away from the tilt, yeah, definitely. All right, well, we were joined here by Numberplay in the channel. GG Numberplay.
GG. Good evening, everyone.
So, how are we feeling after that one?
Ah, what a boring scene. It was so boring. The gloves and mirror location was the trolliest of all. After almost 2 hours of searching. And then I get
Just
lucky.
so you know, in case you're curious, the other glove and the last sword were both in Hype Cave behind Super Bomb.
Yeah, I figured that was Hype Cave.
Yeah, there was that. There was the hint that said that there was the 5 chests back there, but oh man. So,
Yep, and that locked the whole Mire area, which troubled me a lot because I never found Hookshot Cave as well.
Yeah, Mire area had Hookshot Cave, which connected to Desert Right. It had Eastern, which Alaszun didn't explore, but it can't have anything. Like, maybe it has the castle small key. I think that's the only vaguely interesting thing we don't know about.
The other castle key is on the Ether tablet.
oh, that's true. Yeah, we knew that.
I meant Hyrule Castle key, not Castle Tower key.
Not that one. Yeah, I never found it. Never needed it.
But yeah, so the tail of the tape here, I guess the most relevant thing to note on Alaszun's stream is that he took a death to Vitreous, and so he did not have the pod big key, which is one of the last items that that was actually his go mode item.
Oh god.
So he took a long time to get back there. So his last 2 items were the bow and the pod big key, and once he got the bow, he opted to go straight for Ganon's tower.
Yeah, I figured that would have been required at some point. After I collected all the crystals I could, I still had Fighter Sword. That was funny.
That's true. And yeah, so also the final sword, the one you were missing, was also in Hype Cave. So, you know, Alaszun could have reasonably finished the seed without ever climbing Ganon's tower if he had that pod big in hand. So it was quite a crazy race to watch from, you know, commentator viewer perspective.
The one thing I'm disappointed in myself is opening the lava chest room. I shouldn't have done that at that point.
Yeah, especially like
not knowing
I was
where
noting
the-
it at the time, and you and Alaszun did the same thing. after you opened the middle chest, and then you walked out that eye laser entrance and you got stuck behind the bonk rocks, you could have hard reset, and I don't think would have lost anything, and had another opportunity to save the key. But, I mean, this seed was a grind, and I guess these things don't always instantly come to you in the midst of it, you know?
Well, my point was that I didn't know where the Turtle Rock entrances were, and I thought I could find the laser bridge at some point, but finding that exit on the eye lasers that led me, that blocked me basically, meant that I had to do the whole dungeon again.
Yeah, indeed. And real quick, Alaszun has now finished within SRL time of 3 hours, 1 minute, and 44 seconds. So GG to Alaszun. Hopefully we can get him in here for a little bit of interview post game. So.
He's already declined.
Okay, I see. So yeah, that's got to be a frustrating first round loss for Alaszun, knowing that you were mostly a Vidi death from potentially taking this one. So
I was certain
from
I lost that actually. After I found that those two swords and Ganon's climb, I knew I could have had go mode at that point. I was still missing that last Turtle Rock key.
Yeah, the way this race went, you basically went back and forth last locationing everything. And, you both were in Turtle Rock key trouble. You made similar decisions. Alaszun saved a key by hard resetting Laser Bridge, but it didn't end up even helping because Mitts were behind Turtle Rock.
Yeah, you still had to do the whole dungeon to get them.
Yeah, so, this seed was very unfriendly to both of you. Just nothing was where either of you probably wanted it to be.
The Samaria in Ice Palace, that's a new one.
It was actually a really interesting situation because when you first found Ice Palace, you made the decision that was probably the one I personally would have made to look elsewhere because you still had all the south left. Alaszun took the risks to dive. He got that Samaria, but then just nothing came of it. And we were just wondering for a long time, what do these guys got to do? They're just not finding progression. And every time it was always well, there's only one thing left. It's got to be there. And then it would. And then it wouldn't really open the seed up. It was just one more little thing. And it continued that way for 3 hours.
Yeah, this was
the
quite
story
an
of that scene.
exercise, even for us as commentators. Just trying to follow what could be next, what's still out there. So I can't imagine being in your shoes, being in the seed and having to execute along with all that.
And with the length of the seed, you end up forgetting stuff like I completely forgot to check the tree stump in Lost Woods. And that bugged me at the end because I thought I checked everything. Then I remembered.
Yeah, well, so when you were in the tank, so you just cleared the Aga Tower item and you were out of there and you really didn't have any locations left, and we saw you just completely pause and just go into the tank. Were you reviewing physical notes or mental notes? And so what eventually led you back to Spike Cave? Just curious.
I remembered I didn't check that entrance, that's all.
Oh, it was just a matter of remembering. We were commenting, it was good on you to, just continue to make checks while you were doing that. You were like, okay, I know that it said that there was a hint that Tower Terror Basement wasn't it, but, I haven't checked it. So let me just go make sure that I didn't, airball that hint and forget something, So,
it was the same with Magic Bat.
Yeah, you just keep moving.
Going there.
But yeah, it's just keep moving, and you ended up getting there in the end. So congratulations, man, on your first round win.
Maybe I could have done a lot better.
I think
The seed was really not friendly.
no, it definitely was not. But you know, kudos to both of you guys for finishing. It was definitely an entertaining race to watch from the outside. I hope you might you know, watch back, get the chance, because it was pretty interesting throughout. So, but well, anyway, I think we're about ready to wrap up here. It's been 3 hours on our end too, so you know, great time. You know, excellent race to watch. But I think it's time to call it. What do you think, A?
I think it's a great time to call it. Thanks a lot for giving us that run number play. I hope you enjoyed your arduous adventure across Hyrule, lacking silly items like swords and gloves, and we will catch you in your next race.
All right. Yeah. Thanks again, numberplay. Though it was a fun race to watch. So, to everyone out there who's watching, this is going to be it. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the race as much as we did, and you know, continue to watch and follow the Zelda speedrun channels 1, 2, and 3. If you want to continue watching this content, there's going to be a lot of races in the very near future. So you know, stick with the tournament, and you know, hopefully you get to see more races just like this. Take care, guys. Have a good night.
And before we head off, let me just point out that there likely will be a Ocarina of Time Beta Quest match at 4 a.m. Eastern, and the next Link to the Past Cross Keys tournament match will likely be at 5 a.m. Eastern. Technically that's tomorrow, but that's what, about 5 and 6 hours from now, so keep an eye out. Those are hopefully going to happen, pending volunteers, so we'll see. Just keep an eye out. Thank you for joining us. Oh, yeah, and on the note of tomorrow's races, we just haven't, I think they just hit the schedule, so we're kind of working on a lot of that too. So, have a good night, and hope to see you all soon.